just go.
Taker is like the legend.
I feel like our Nets got Undertaker today. I don't know how you've been.
Tombstone,
but,
not Undertaker.
Oh, I haven't been tombstoned. We're pretty comfortable. I mean, I would like to see this Palantir go, but other than that, that's it, man. All right, it's 11 o'clock. Good session today. Thanks to Derek. Thanks to Mitch.
Best rookie in WWF history is the Undertaker.
Yeah.
He was the most dominant
when he came out first?
The most dominant first year of any wrestler ever was the Undertaker.
We're going to enjoy the pork fajitas today. Where is Netflix? Because I got to make sure that I give Joey back some time over here. $99 right now for Netflix. We did get stopped out there. I just wanted to double check to see what that low looked like. So it does come right back into it. So Joe and everybody looking at Netflix, good little level there if it ever comes back to 98. I think there for Netflix, as it's been bouncing off there a couple times. And we took it on the first support. Looks like the second support was the good old gem. All right, thanks everybody. We'll see you once again. Neil, lesson of the day coming at noon. It's the Midday Madness with your boys, Sharif and Joe. See you at 2 p.m.
Yeah, make sure that John is ready.
Greetings and salutations.
Mitch Hope throwing hands this morning.
Did, eh?
Get that pinky to the sky, my boy.
Yeah, you definitely always. My buddy would always tell me to go like that. Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. That guy right there is your boy Joey Options. I'm Sharif. And who do we got in the chat, Joey? We got Gorev, the OG.
Let's go.
We got Oliver Glenn. We got Ronaldo, Rivian, millionaire, bro. He's dripping money. Money's falling out of the sky, Assassino. The G is back. Let's go Ichiro. Let's go Green Day Dean and Cad Wave. We got Rev Boost. We got Damien Tarza. Fluffy freaking Hippo. Ahmed, come to Egypt, Habibi. I can do it because I'm from there. Adam James abroad. We got Benton. What a big dub. Benton, did you see City fumble at the end? It was a thing of freaking beauty. Oh, they should have been up 3-2, but you're not, and now you're 7 points back. All right, we got Same Shirt Guy. We got Dexter Smith. We got Todd. We got Carolina Tech. Shout out to Buffalo Soldier. Sit and Spin. A-Day Trading. Soraya Lopez. We got Varun, Dexter Smith, and Buffalo Soldier. We got Big Red Bulldog and Mosquito Bite. Overthinking Bear. John Neal. We got Gabe. Poison Joe. SPX. Some things related to the show. You, the SPX. Henry Puro. We got Chris Cut Fries and MF Dangerous. Good morning to everybody. Good morning to you, brother.
Good morning. I was going to ask you, the shirt guy made me think of this. How many times do you wear an article of clothing before you put it in the wash? Let's start with
pants,
the shirt.
pants get 2 runs before they get washed. Shirts immediately.
Shirts immediately.
Yeah. That's the way it is, bro.
That's the way we party around these
You party that way too?
I party that way too.
You party that way as well. Okay, I can go.
All right, man. Teacher, I wear a sweater twice though. Sweater we wear. Yeah. All right, guys, let's see what we got going on here today. Definitely a little bit tougher of a start here. Looking for the continuation in Bitcoin. The Qs as well. We're involved in that right now, but for some reason I didn't catch a full fill on probably one of the most liquid ETFs on the planet right here. But anyways, aside from that, the Qs, TQQs, IBIT, RGTI, and the trade desk. Not a good start, that's for sure. We take a long, we're looking for the continuation to the top side there, and then moving to $33 on the trade desk. Sure enough, that fails, and then we take a short as we had that descending triangle starting to be formed. But I just didn't I had literally about half the size on the short as I did on the long. So that was a little bit tougher of a look. Not happy with that one because that was an absolute monster. Let's go to Adair and let's get right back into things.
Oh, crap.
One to be aware of here, NFLX, keep an eye on this one, seeing reports they've acquired a AI movie-making business founded by Ben Affleck. I don't have any more details right now, but looks like an acquisition for NFLX. Back to you.
Affleck, one of my favorite actors. What's the Town? Great movie there with my boy Casey Affleck. I'm pretty sure he's in that one as well too. But all right, guys, IBIT 0 for 2. I'm like, you know what? There's going to be no long today. We were slightly in the money here, but then it came against us. You can see the momentum and the volume really start to pick up there. And I'm like, all right, let's get out of Dodge. And then we have the continuous slide. We're down 2.5% here on IBIT. And in the notes, I'm like, you know what? It may be an inside day. Give back a little bit of yesterday's move, and then we'll we'll wait for another rebound, maybe come Monday or Friday or something along those lines. Plenty of opportunities to get involved with. Now, so we go 0 for 2 right there on IBIT, and then we go 0 for 2 on RGTI. Okay, yesterday we traded one name that was IBIT to the long side. We were fortunate enough to sit in that trade throughout the whole day. And then, you know what, RGTI didn't work for us. We did get out a little bit early here. It did get that move, but I just had a feeling that we were going to get this liquidity grab, which it did so. And I was like, okay, I'm happy to get out. You get that move. Wasn't necessarily to my target. Looking for 1660s on this front, but we didn't get that either. Now we're starting to party a little bit here in the TQs, and then I talked about not getting a fill. I literally got a fill of half of my position. So I'm like, what the Gonzalez is going on over here? And then anyways, aside from that, that's slowly starting to work. Going with the flow on this one, I mean, we're gonna try to diamond hands and hold the majority of this to $49 there.
Where did you get that?
Well, I didn't know what to say, so that was, I don't know why that was the first thing that came.
You come up with some clever stuff.
Yeah, I'll give that credit to my great grandmother.
Yeah?
Yeah, she was always like, yeah.
All right, Joey. There's a couple of movers right now. GXAI is moving. I see it, Bovin. Thank you for that. So let's get right down to work, ladies and gents, and everybody else. Let's get right down to work. GXAI, the OG Bovin pointing this one out. GXAI is up bigly, 86.69% into the high here, or generally this area high into 233. Official high of day takes us to 239, but you take a gander at what we did at 8:40 a.m. Joseph Options when we cleared that 250 level. There it goes into 35. It is now 4 measly pennies below the high of the day. GXAI is doing it live. I don't have a good read on GXAI. The only read I really have here is the bull flag breakout, top end of the range, seems to be at support right now. Here's what I mean. 810 breakout, I guess that's when the news catalyst came out. I don't care, okay? And then it gets up into that area high of 208. It has trouble with 2. You can see that. It doesn't close above 2 on 4 different 5-minute candles. And then all hell breaks loose at 8:30. We clear it. We clear bigly. This is the high of the day, 251. And then we come back down. Lo and behold, though, we do the dance with absolutely no underwear or pants at that $2 level. Look how no closing prints below 2. It does wick below, so you would have got stopped out if you had a tight stop. And the official low of the day is 186. So that's my only read. I'm not going to use VWAP. I'm not going to use a 10 EMA. They don't look like they're being respected whatsoever on GXAI. Let me have a quick look at the multi-time frame here on JAXI. Let's have a look here what the 15 looks like. The 15 looks a lot cleaner in terms of, well, not even, man. VWAP looks like a line of best fit on the 50. Now we're into 236, 239 high, 37. The breakout's on right now, 38. Here comes 39. So, yeah, I got to tell you. And on the hourly time frame, you can kind of get the feeling the higher low wicks there. That supports, you know, the bullish view. So a prolonged bull flag here on the hour. So that's a multi-time frame on GXAI. You need to go a little wider here to get a better view. So that's number one. Number two, I'm keeping an eye on Stack because this one, you know, we'll see if it's stacked or not, but in any event, it's got some higher lows here, and it's dancing with the volume weighted average price. It is, of course, suffering from the ones that a lot of these ones suffer from, which was resistance at 104 area high. That's the official high of the day, and that happened during regular trading hours on about 561,000 shares of volume on that one candle. Alas, Stack has about 22.3 million shares traded on the day. It's got that upper twist to the lows, so that keeps me bullish on it, and it feels flat top-ish, with, of course, that flat top being the dollar area. I realize that we've been above it, but we don't close above it very rarely. So Stack in focus over here. So is TPET. TPET's a former convict. It's been locked up, and it just broke down into that 123 area. Gorev, not Gorev, who was that telling me? Bovin. I had a bias, Bovin, that this 1.25 area was the real area of support. I saw the 10 EMA in and around 128, 129, but I said to myself, Yeah, that doesn't look like it's going to hold up there. And then you have a further look over here, and then yeah, that 1 1.25, sorry, to 1 1/4, that definitely looks to me like the support level. Now it's still bleeding its own blood, unbroken lower high trend, Joey. So what I'm going to wait for here is the first 5-minute candle to make a new high. Currently, that has to take us above prior bar high, which is $1.34. We're showing $1.30. I'm not looking for a wick or two. I'm looking for a closing print. That necessitates me to wait, because I got to wait for the candle to close. So we're going to keep a close look here on TPET. Turbin's back. It broke out yesterday. I don't know why. I can look later. I kind of don't care, but if you guys want to know, I'll look. 6:20 p.m. for whatever reason, it caught a bid. On volume, mind you, these candles here have like a few 100,000 shares apiece. So it wasn't light, continues today. We're still not above that 4 a.m. high that we got into, which is 292, official HOD 284. And that 4 a.m. candle had about 184,000 shares. Just to give you, a comparator, the candle that we just closed at 1105, 162,000 shares. So very similar volume profiles, whether you're trading at 4 a.m. in the morning or you're trading now on Turbin.
Sure. I hear Katina
Iranian
man
news agency.
You hear Katina man going on over there.
What's going on over there, Katina man?
Oh, you know what's going on.
The Katina man is short Palantir Assassino if we can. Thank you very much. That's a great trade there, Katina man. He's covering up a storm on that. He was long and then he reversed. I mean, isn't that what a trader's supposed to do, Katina man? So you're kind of doing it live right now, aren't you? Some would say that's my guy right there. Reverse.
Remember, what's that song there? That was like reverse. 2 steps one time.
I don't know that. Oh,
you never sang that song?
No. We're saying it again.
2 steps one time. Reverse.
Oh, yeah. My bad. Yes.
Everybody knows that song, man.
We got to get the name of that. Adara just put a headline on there. Iranian news agency reports explosions heard in various parts of the Iranian capital, Tehran. We hope they're safe. Civilians have nothing to do with this. We hope they're okay. So we're keeping an eye here on TPET, guys, because TPET is trying to make a move above prior bar high after putting in that bottoming tail candle, and this looks good. I don't know how I feel quite yet about it. I've already set up my my risk analysis on TPET, and we're gonna stop out here at 123 if we get in. So let's go ahead. Oh crap! Where's my calculator? I want to put an option to put this thing above all windows. So let's give it this one the old college try. We're in at TPET right now. We're going to give it to deuces. And if it fails, it fails. We're going to give this one the old college try, though. 134 seller right now on TPET, 141 high. It's still, putting in a bit of a downtrend. Prior bar low is 122, okay? GXAI finding a bit of a topping tail candle. And I'll want to get to stack in a minute. So my trade on TPET is as follows. 2R for me takes me to 153. 3R takes me to 163. I will be wetting the beak along the way, but it's going to be for very small share size. We're going to save the bulwark of the shares for my 2R and 3R. We'll see if we get there. We don't, I stop out. Cost of doing business. So that's what I'm thinking. Bubba says, I think it's a buy at 130 and a dip buy into 125 on TPET. I don't happen to disagree with you, Buvin. Let's see if this one holds up, though. It is still putting in, I don't want to say on a strict candle basis lower high, but you put the downtrend. We still haven't cleared that 141 area, so it does concern me. 136 showing up now. Nothing really to report about, but stacked. Just made a new intraday high, so this one is continuing to go. It's back above that $1 area, the 107 high. So this flat top could be giving way right now, not in the typical way that we see where, the flat top just gets blown through with a big move of like 10, 12 pennies. That's not happening here. It looks like we're incrementally taking out that $1 resistance. We're gonna pack the patience, Joey, and we're gonna find out what we get. And you know what Neil says? We won't get upset.
Well, we won't get upset. Have the host talked about the recent Dubai stock market crashes? No, we have not.
No, and I don't know anything about it. Do you?
Fabian? Me, I personally don't. I have no idea.
I have no idea.
Well, I mean, if rockets are hitting
I know that
Dubai,
the Israeli market or the Tel Aviv market made all-time highs, like on the day that they were getting clipped.
Oh, really?
Funny enough, huh?
True.
Yeah.
I mean, we're getting on that insider buying. No, I mean, I
coming in
know
hot.
nothing about that, Fabian. I mean, technically, if you get hit with rockets, probably the market's probably going to head a little bit lower. All right, guys, so there it is. You can see that we're short. I don't know why. I should have double the amount of shares up here. I don't know why I didn't catch that fill, so I'm just going to sit here and call me a ambulance or something along like that. I could add another opportunity to add up there, but I should have just caught the fill initially. And let's see if we can hold the rest down there to 49 smackers and see what we got going on. AT&D, the best feeling. My boy's killing it today, 4 for 5. That's exactly what we want to hear. I wouldn't put it past this market to rebound whatsoever, but what we got from the current sentiment, it doesn't necessarily feel like that right now, does it? Aside from that, guys, we went over our trade, a little bit tougher of a start on RGTI, tougher of a start on IBIT. We didn't get that ball rolling here today. Now we're down to $40.24. I mean, it was up around 8% yesterday, so a nice little breath in between. If we're fortunate enough to catch an additional leg, we'll be keeping our eyes on IBIT for the next couple of days, just in case we do get that aggressive in that strong rebound, in which I am looking for, right? We kind of formed that bottoming consolidation zone. We broke through some key resistance. We opened up on top of those levels. So let's see if we can find a continuation. We do need some positive news behind it. Donald Trump and some one-off tweets here and there, but it's small win after the other. So that's all I got going on right now. TQQ Shreves getting built up, and there you go. I know you.
What did I even do, bro? I didn't even make a noise. I didn't even make a noise.
It's the acceleration of the key punching. It's the body language. I know when you're ready.
Guy, bro, he's
man.
killing me. I know you too, bro. When I walk in from the gym, it depends on his mood. I'll know immediately if he's up or down on the day based upon his mood.
Yeah, you couldn't could you tell how I was today?
No. To be fair, no, I didn't know. I didn't know. You were hiding it.
I'm just a chill guy. Hit that.
You
thing
are
for
a chill
me.
guy, bro.
Hit that thing for me, Fabian. You got the chill guy.
Shout out to Dan the man. It's like to see you back again. Brown Lighting, my apologies. 15-minute time frame on IREN. Absolutely, brother. Let me just resolve this trade here on TPET. There goes TPET into the high of the day at 142. We're saving the bulwark of the shares for 2R. 2R is 153, but I gotta be honest with you guys. Because 2R is right around that $0.50 area, I'm going to take it out if it makes it up there before the $0.50. I don't wanna deal with the $0.50 resistance. Look at the selling here at 42. I don't know what the hell's going on. More shares coming in and they're down into 139. Let's see if it gets bought up now. TPET doing the dance here with that 140, 139 area. Back into 40s we go. We're up 64%, but we're having trouble clearing the highs. So I'm going to pack the patience over here. I don't know if I should be moving up my stop. Right? It's a different trade, right? From the time that I got in to the price action development subsequent, right? So I feel like, okay, prior bar low takes me to 129.5. That's where we're moving it up, and we're going to move it into that level. So let's go ahead and do that. Sometimes I lament doing this because, you know, it ends up moving in my direction and I've moved up my stop. But I'm going to give it to prior bar low, okay? Because this candle is forming into a topping tail candle and we're going to cancel the previous top. We're going to go to Adara in 1 second. When we get back, Brown Lightning, I promise I will look at IREN for you on the 15-minute chart.
Yeah, more talks here about Iran. Axios reporting that Trump has said that he wants to be he feels he needs to be personally involved in the selection of Iran's next leader. They kind of already know who the successor might be, but Trump finds it to be unacceptable. So just so you guys know, that conversation's happening. Also, this came out around 15 minutes ago. CNBC reporting that apparently a consortium of states has actually sued to block the new tariffs from President Trump. This suit was apparently filed in the Court of International Trade, as of today being led by the state of New York. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Adair. Let's go into IREN now for Brown Lightning. Take a look at IREN, a fan favorite here and a viewer favorite on the show on the 15. So let's flip over here. Let's take a quick look. Okay, so immediately, what am I seeing here? I am seeing definitely an area of consolidation into the low to mid 40s. That is going back as deep as mid-February, okay, with an area low of 39. But Brown Lightning, what was your question? Let me just go back, have a look. My apologies, 15. Okay, can you look at the IREN chart? Is there room for more downside? It broke the 40 psychological level. I would agree, of course, it's at $40 as we speak right now. But I wouldn't say that 40 is the end-all and be-all. Right? Take a look at what we did here on the 23rd. We got into the low of around 39. We got into it again on the March 2nd, and we really lost it here on the 3rd, albeit that was a weekday. We got into about 137. Yeah, 137 and a half was the low there. So we've been dancing with this level, certainly. I just have to digress. There goes TPET into 144. We're going to put the bulwark of the shares into 148. We're going to look to de-risk 146, 147. Let's go into the $0.50. We're waiting here, Joey. I don't want to take it out. There's 48s. Can we get a little bit higher? We're taking it out. Boom! There. In. Nice. All right. We're saving a piece here. We've got many pieces, actually. Let's go ahead and wait. Above 53. We're looking for the move here into the $0.50 on TPET, up 75%. Selling into the $0.50 to be expected. Look at the tape. Pick up now. Then you know there's exactly now the equilibrium between buyers and sellers, but I'm seeing more green and yellow, green and yellow, green and yellow, than I am seeing blue or red, which is obviously on my time and sales not good. In any event, going back here to the TPET chart, sorry guys, digressing. I see some resistance here at 44. I love that resistance level at 44 with the outlier between these 3 days. I would say more like 2 days, February the 24th and the 25th. So I do feel, brother, Brown Lightning, that you can easily lose 40. You've been losing 40 a lot lately, mostly intraday, and then it does tend to recover. But if you're asking if the possibility is there, I would have to say absolutely yes. It looks like it is. Let me put in IREN right here so I can get the updated. Yeah, man, 39.89. It looks like it's headed down more. If you want my opinion as to where we're going to stop out, it looks like that 39, I want to say 38.75, another local area level, especially if this area gives up way, right? That's a pre-market action from yesterday morning, down 8.9%. IREN bleeding its own blood, Joey.
All right, man. Good look there, brother. So, yeah, we're still sitting in this same position, 49.93. We're getting down to 40.20. My boy Charlie Taff also hitting that short today, saying making up for yesterday's losses. That's exactly what we want to hear. I'm going to take my last, I will take an additional half out. We're fortunate enough to get 49. We're starting to form a double bottom in these squeezes. They get frustrating. Like, look at this, boom, squeeze. What's up with this nonsense here? And then eventually you make a leg lower and you bounce off this. So almost forming a double bottom here in the overall market. Once again, we got to see what the big lads are up to. And then Apple's now squeezing above the volume weighted average price. Let's pull it up here so we just don't have the same screen. Apple, Microsoft. A strong bounce there in Softy. This is a little bit delayed, so always keep that in mind. There's NVDA. A lot of what happens in the Nasdaq today is going to determine around these top three names. Amazon continuing to climb a little bit higher. What's GOG's been up to? Heading lower, so that could definitely add a little bit of selling pressure. But you're talking about, like, see how we're going through this list, and we typically do this throughout the intraday session on multiple occasions, is just that there's so many different so many of these names are doing different things, like Google moving to the downside. You have the other four above it that are moving a little bit higher. Tesla stuck in this consolidative zone. I like this a little bit here, maybe. If we can catch the lower end of the range, also just be prepared for failed breakouts. We can draw basic trend lines. It's really important to do so. Sometimes I forget, like, and it's like these things work wonders, as simplistic as they may be. You don't have to be a chartered market technician in order to do these things, essentially. So make sure you do that. Draw your resistance lines, draw those support levels, and just kind of base trades off of that, all right? So there is Tesla. Meta, how are you doing today? Heading to the downside, so definitely more selling pressure, right? What we're experiencing. What has Broadcom been up to? Strong report. Started to give back the majority of that move and finding somewhat of a bounce, but this is a clear resistance zone, if you ask me, 336.26, and it's helping drag the market down lower. Not Broadcom necessarily, but Meta. What does it look like on a daily?
Meta?
Yeah, because it's not looking too good. I mean, you're down almost $100 from that earnings report high.
So many zigzags too, Joey.
Yeah, it's a lot. I think you're going to get that in this.
Annoying.
I think you're going to get that in this name, right? And then we also have what's going on in California with these guys as well, too.
Oh yeah, bro,
right?
all around the country.
Yeah.
That
So
trial is going to be.
They're catching hands everywhere, right?
Exactly.
So that could be an additional weight that's looming on this company. Wait for the next quarter once you realize that 97% of their revenue is coming from digital ads, and then sure enough, it's going to be an outstanding number. The street will probably fall back in love with it. And the MAUs are back up, and
The MAUs are always been good, man.
Exactly.
Remember that invisible like ceiling that we spoke almost never about on Google with the breakup, possibly forcing them to divest Chrome.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
From
Like
that
we
stuff.
almost said nothing about that. We were constantly harping on how bad Gemini was and that they were behind on AI. And then as soon as that Judge Meta guy, dismissed the possibility of divestiture of Chrome. Remember the rocket?
Yeah, the rocket. It's just like, okay.
I feel like this is kind of the same thing. It's not being reported every day.
Exactly, because it goes on for so long, right?
Exactly.
And I think, and that's what I mentioned about Netflix as well too, with the
Absolutely
Paramount, with the Warner Brothers and Paramount Skydance ordeal. I'm like, hey, watch out for this name. Once this is over, I think that Netflix is still one of the second largest streaming giant next to YouTube. It's going to eventually recover. A name that strong doesn't deserve to be down 40% or whatever it was at that time.
I'm just moving up my stop. So the candle on TPET at 11:15. The candle low there is 137. We're putting it there. It's having trouble clearing 50. High a day, 50. Prior bar low, 44, $1.44. Current bar low, 146, but the current bar literally just opened up on the 5. I'm always talking about the 5. Prior bar high is the high of the day at 150. So what I'm doing is I'm not going prior bar high low. That's too tight of a stop. I don't want to get wicked out. So I'm giving it to the 11:15 bar on the 5-minute chart, the low of which is 137. Okay, my entry 134. So by definition, it's going to be a profitable trade unless I get a lot of slippage at that level. TMDE. This is above and special. Scott, I like what's it called? Indo as well. Very similar charts on TMDE and INDO. I'm just going to flip to INDO here quickly to show you exactly. Look at this. Flat top breakthrough 505. This is the chart on Indo. And then when we look to TMDE, very similar setup. They're both energy names. It looks like they're moving in tandem or similarly. So that's kind of what I'm looking at there. I like the $3 level, Bovin and Scott and everybody else. I don't think we're going to get it. Look at the breakout. It's happening now. We're above the pre-market high, having printed that pre-market high at 4:05 a.m. on about a little more than 250,000 shares of volume, so decent. It was 327. Now the official high day, 333. 10 EMA on the 5, 303. Breakout level to me is 295 to 3. We're putting in a topping tail candle, 10 pennies off the high now, and I wouldn't mind this. First thing I'm looking for, do we breach prior bar low? Sorry, incorrect. First thing I'm looking for, does this candle close as a topping tail candle, yes or no? We'll see. And if it does the subsequent candle breach this bar low? I'm talking about 1120, the low of which is 315. So I'm looking for trend continuation here, all right? So we'll see what we get on this one. I'm talking about TMDE. Good call out, Bovin. We're going to keep certainly an eye out on this one. I just don't think it's the appropriate time for me to execute on this one, given that it just broke out. That's one. Stack. Bless you, Fabian. Bless you, Fabian. This one is continuing to put in higher lows. Stack is suffering, though, and continues to suffer from a lack of closing prints above the dollar. You can clearly see the profit takers and or the short sellers are really using that dollar area as resistance, and that is no surprise to anybody who trades these dollar stocks, dollar-ish stocks, okay? That's the look there. But BATL, Joey, this one is back in a big way. Look at BATL, a lot more expensive now than when it first started, up 40% and looking clean as hell. You got a nice area of consolidation there with some lower highs. Alas, those lower highs led to the lows bouncing off the 10 EMA on the 5, and you were certainly, I would have been certainly comforted with these kind of green candles. Each of these green candles, the 1105 and the 1110, closing at the high. Let's not leave out the 1115 candle. Also closes out at the high, continuing to go. 26, 24 area high, showing 26 now. I like the 24
2450 area, because that is the breakout area from that longer consolidation. I want to say the consolidation lasted from 1040 till about 1105. So that's the look right now on BATL. It's more expensive, right? Which is fine. Just, you know, manage your risk in the same way, and that comes through share sizing. I wouldn't say, you know, manage your risk through more aggressive stop placement. I think that that's a recipe to get a good trade ended early, all right? I think that when you're looking from a risk management perspective, your go-to move should not be a tighter stop, but less shares. That's my opinion there. I think that that gives you the freedom to allow the trade to develop without having, you know, that more aggressive stop and then being and ending the trade a little early. Go ahead, Joey.
No, our boy. Okay, I see what you got going on there, Gorev. I'm looking at silver too, but I haven't been trading it as much. That channel to the downside, I'm not in love with right now. But our boy Nick W putting out UiPath right now. It looks pretty good. Sorry to interrupt you, Sharif. A nice bull flag being formed. If we can catch the lower end of that range, really going to increase your risk to reward on that one. I just want to bring that up there.
Of course, brother. Guys, a couple of topping tail candles now, both into 150 on TPET. It still hasn't breached prior bar low, but you can clearly see the selling at the $0.50 here is just readily apparent. Most of the selling at the $0.50 is hidden orders. So looks like we're going to make a move down unless there's going to be a buyer here that pushes through that $0.50. It is a 150 high and nothing but. We're pausing for a second. We're going to Adara for the crypto segment.
Really interesting level that we're at right here for Bitcoin, or rather the level we rejected yesterday is pretty interesting. Now, right now we're coming to that 71,000 level. This proved to be a key area of resistance for roughly half a month here for Bitcoin, and then the level that we broke out of nicely yesterday. But if you zoom out, that 74,000 level we rejected becomes pretty fascinating. This was clear support going back to April, this quote-unquote tariff tantrum that we had at that time. That's where Bitcoin kind of bottomed out here around that 74,000 level. But furthermore, that was the prior all-time high of Bitcoin in the area we broke out of back in November of 2024 when we had the election. So this now the third time we've had some kind of significant interaction here with that 74,000 level. We'll have to see how it plays out. But either way, Bitcoin is at a fascinating level from a technical standpoint. Ethereum continues kind of its upward curl. It's back above 2,000. I think in terms of technically speaking, that Bitcoin level is going to be the most interesting. Now, in terms of fundamentals, not too much to add here. I have seen some commentary suggesting that, you know, the ongoing back and forth in Iran could be what's moving Bitcoin lower today, but we still had that yesterday, and Bitcoin had that massive pop. So we're going to have to wait and see if anything changes the story here for BTC and its crypto peers. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Adara. 2 New York cents says, take a look at BW. Let's take a look, man. I think you're the second person to mention it to New York. I think it's making a move, and TPET is clearly rejecting that $0.50. So it looks like the shorts are going to win this one for now. Underline that for now. BW, great move yesterday. Who can complain about this move, man? Clean move off the 10 EMA basically all day. Looks like the top came in at 415. Jeez Louise, look how unabated this uptrend was from 6:30 in the morning. It didn't break. It broke once here, that's at 11 o'clock. That's it. And then it basically held the 10 EMA all freaking day into 415. What a move here for BW. Clearly not as good of a move today to New York, but hey, it's trying to struggle back above the volume weighted average price. It looked like VWAP here was a clear area of support, and then till it wasn't. It's losing it right now. Yeah, VWAP, Joey, is at about a little bit less than 2 2/3. So we're going to keep an eye out on that. I'm definitely interested in this name, but it's got to set up in the right way. Here comes TPET. It's coming into the 10 EMA. The 10 EMA now is at 138. I've given it to 136. So let's see if it holds up. If it comes into the 10 EMA and it holds, I'm going to add. Okay, now what does that mean? That means the candle has to close above the 10 EMA. That means I'm not going to get in just on a quick touch of the 10 EMA and then a perfunctory move back up. It's got to close. What does that mean? That means I got to wait a little bit longer. So what does that mean? That means I probably get a worse price. That's something I'm willing to stomach if I get the right setup. So that's my move there. Also, I want to mention ALTO is making a move as well.
It was trying to break through 4. Look at this uptrend here. And a clean hold, by the way, guys, of that 20 EMA. So it looks like those are all higher lows, as the 20 EMA is a yellow line, kind of tilting upwards. But it is having trouble above 4. And I would say at the extremities, it seems like the selling comes in quite aggressively in the mid 4 single digits, 404, 405, 403, in and around that level. But I am buoyed and I'm motivated to get into this name by the higher lows into 4. It feels like an ascending wedge, what we call a flat top break, so to speak, on Alto. It's up 54 freaking percent, and it's done 18.5 million shares. So plenty of shareage has exchanged hands on the day on Alto. So that is in focus for me. Stack remains in focus. And look at TMD go, bro. Unbroken in terms of greenery here on the 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're in our 7th green candle in a row on TMDE. The energy name is continuing to go. What are you laughing at? What's going on? The door, eh? It's coming up. All right. If you guys don't know, Assassino, is there a possible angle where we can show Studio B or no? Hey, you ask, you get with Assassino. So look at that, guys. See the drywall there? That's all patched up. Randy was very reluctantly putting in insulation yesterday. He wasn't happy about it. Shout out to the man, Randy. But that is going to be Studio B. So that's inside this whole big thing that you and you and your boy Joey Opsh are in right now. And there's Russ in the back there. He's getting the job done. And we're going to have an entirely different studio in there. We're going to be able to make content when Ram shows up. And right, I gotta take a shot. I love her, man. She's sick. We wish her all the best. We love you, Ram. She's not watching, obviously.
You don't know that.
Well, I don't know that, actually, because Sia was watching yesterday.
Sia was watching.
So we miss Ram. We hope she's doing real well. And we're just, we got to bug her.
Yeah, next thing you know, she's in the chat, right?
Oh, yeah, exactly. The reason I say Ram is because Ram does all the social media stuff. That's why I say, guys. Scott, look at WT oil. Oil wants to hit 80. I don't even have futures anymore, Scott. I had to take it off because they were charging me too much money. TNGX, says Grunfeld. We'll look at it in a second here. Let's have a look. Where's the chart, Joey? There it is. TNGX. Take a look at this bad boy. Oh, my days. This is another, what is this? Therapeutics. Therapeutics. Biotech, clinical stage biotech company dedicated to discovering novel drugs targeting and delivering precision medicine for the treatment of cancer. Company's novel small molecules are designed to be selectively active in cancer cells with specific genetic alterations, killing those cancer cells while sparing normal cells. You've got to love headlines like this. You only hope, of course, that it manifests into what they want. This is a fantastic looking chart. This is the 15 on TNGX, so don't let that fool you. This isn't the 5, so there may be pullbacks here. Let's flip to the 5. Have a quick look at TNGX. Yeah, really good name. Really flat, 15.25, flat top break, initial resistance at that level. Now we're all gas, no brakes, into 15.59. There is another high of the day. This has earned its way onto the side chart. It's just about a matter of who gets taken off. And Turbine. Turbine is out, TNGX is in. Because this is a great looking chart. Thank you very much for that, Grunfeld. Good call on your part. Joe Opsh, what do you got there, my man?
Looking at Tesla here, my boy City Boy 305, this is really starting to form a wedge, guys. What we really want to see is the volume kick in. So if we get a breakout and a retest, maybe we can get the ball rolling here in TSLA. It's heading to the top end of that range right now. I want to head over to the daily to see if we can correlate it with anything. I mean, we're not in a breakout zone. We're at the top end of this channel right now. It's just all these things that I'm taking into consideration. I have to take a look at silver because I know my boy Gore was about to engage in some SLV longs. So I want to see how we're performing over there. But you can see that the volume on the lower time frames isn't stepping in how I want it to for this potential breakout. And if we're going to punch through this 407 mark, you know exactly what I'm going to say. You need that volume supporting it, all right? That's when the effort and the result comes into everything. Heading back to the 5-minute time frame and seeing what we got cooking up. So we're coming back into the lower end. Did path breakout? Gotta see what my boy Nick W. Yeah, so Nick, I didn't think I was gonna get it, to be honest with you, but ideally for me, it would just be catching the lower end of the range. You can see there's somewhat of a trend line. We'll do the same basics right here with the resistance zone. So if you catch the lower end or as close to the trend line as you possibly can, drastically increases your risk to reward, all right? What was I about to pull up? SLV. Now, as for, oh, no, there it goes. Go FTR, you sly dog, you. Yeah, real nice double hammer candle. This is exactly what we want to see here at the lower end of that range. Let's see if you're going to get a break through that volume-weighted average price. I wouldn't put it past over at any given minute point, but I mean, look at the daily, slightly red, right? So how big of a rebound are we going to get? All right, David Amzi, what's up?
Get it, David.
Second try, NVDA earnings, institutional stub was compute equals revenue. Epic flex by JH, Jensen Wong. Days of tried. One economic is over. Net DNS seat license is a dinosaur. No more provisioning costs. Mix your apps. I mean, that was a little bit tougher of a one, man. I'll let Sharif kind of
NVIDIA earnings was an institutional stub. Was compute equals revenue. That's what Jensen said. That was Jensen's exact words. He was trying to make that case. Epic flex by Jensen Huang. Days of tied to one ecosystem is over. He's talking about CUDA, of course. Net, DNS. Seat license is a dinosaur. Okay, that I don't know. No more provisioning costs. Mix your apps. Okay, so I'm assuming he's talking about the network, about the enclosure network there of CUDA. And okay, I do see that. You have to assume that there was going to be some point where the hyperscalers, with all the muscle that they have and the money that they have, they're not going to be locked in on under Jensen's network.
No.
You know what I mean? And we already see that they're exploring that through ASICs for price, for efficiency. And let's cut the crap, bro. Let's cut the crap, man. Let's be honest about it. NVIDIA's chips were the best in the game, but are they still the best in the game when it comes to inference? And everything
I think so. You don't think he's the best
in inference?
Yeah, because that's essentially what you want to use it for more, no? The king of inference is what they call him.
Do they call him that?
Yeah.
I personally don't think so. Okay. I've just my opinion. I respect your opinion, but I think that, you know, and we saw, remember what Altman, he kind of leaked that information that NVIDIA's chips were not the best for inference anymore. Anyway, whether you believe that or not.
Who do you think is the best for
I think the best ones are the ones that are custom designed to run specific applications, and that takes me to ASICs.
The Broadcoms, okay, all right.
And that's what we're seeing a lot more, right? There goes TPET through the high into 154. It's a 155 high. I wet the beak at 54s. We didn't get 155. Keeping an eye out on this one. Very interested. Joseph Birch, chill, bro. Very interested to see if we can get 2/3 of a dollar. I screwed up, Joey. I screwed up. Because I said I'd add at the 10 EMA, and then I was starting to read, and then, you know, it doesn't really give you much time. So unless you're right there right now, yeah, I see it. I see it. Bovin thinks TPET is going to 186 at least, easily. I love Bovin, bro. He's sickest hype man. But thank you very much, David, for the super chat and for your comments. I think what you were saying is quite sound. I don't know if it's as extreme as you're saying, but I do agree with Jensen's comment that more compute will equate into more revenue. I don't think it's as simplistic as Jensen makes it out to be, but I think as a general statement, it is true. Does it mean that the compute has to be his? No. That's where I kind of digress a little bit with that. And we saw Broadcom's earnings, and Broadcom is saying that, you know, well, you guys will read the report, obviously, during the what's it called? The afternoon session. So I'm involved in a new trade, guys. I weaseled into Stack. I'm in at $1, and it's at 99. I'm giving it to 92.5. I'm taking half a risk unit on this one, okay? I like the higher lows. I didn't take the same risk unit as I took on TPET. We're taking exactly half the risk unit that we took on TPET. And here it comes into 101 showing up. I'd like a 105 print. My move on this one is as follows. 2R on Stack
is $1.15. 3R is 122. I'm gonna save the majority of the shares for that 110 to 115 area. I'm gonna give it a zone, okay? I don't wanna be kind of restricted to $1.15 because my 2R is exactly at $1.15. To me, it's gonna be a zone. So we stop out below 92.5 and we wet the beak. We wet the beak multiple times, but for very little shares. But we'll save the bulwark of the shares for that 110 to 115 zone on stack, keeping an eye on that. And just before we send it to your boy Joey Opsh, I also want to mention TMDE. Here's the deal. This one dropped big red candle, but this red candle is engulfed by the price action of the prior green candle, which has substantially more volume. This candle here, 468,000 shares. I'm talking about the green candle at 1130. This, the red candle, the 1135, holds a higher low, and the current green candle also holding the red candle's higher low. So TMDE holding it around 330, 3 1/3. Let's see if it breaches. If it does, I'm looking at that 320 area. That is where the 10 EMA on the 5 is, and that's where I'd get involved unless this one takes out prior bar high, in which case it changes a trade from a dip trade to a breakout trade and a possible move into 4. That's what I'm thinking here on TMDE. Let's see if it manifests, Joey.
All right, no, Loon. Yeah, you know who it is, Mr. Worldwide. Anyways, aside from that, guys, the teacher, let me sit up straight here, man. Sit up straight.
Get it.
All right, so essentially what we got going on, FIRGO, I mean, I think we'll get a pullback. If it comes back into the volume-weighted average price, then I'm going to get out of the trade, right? We're starting to form these higher lows, and there's a little bit of a resistance zone right there. And I never put it past the market to have a full recovery. I mean, we couldn't breach this low of the day. And at that point, if that wasn't the case, I just don't think the sentiment is that weak, right? But back to Tesla, my boy City Boy over here. You can see that trend line still holding up. But what we don't have, my friend, and it can come in, this is what we're looking for, right? You want to see that volume really step in as we punch through that resistance zone, all right? So we'll just keep that in mind, guys. I took half off right there. Maybe should have took a little bit more off at the failed break of the low of the day, and then leave like 33% of a runner. But that's not going to be the case. We're not going to allow this to come against us. We'll get out. And if it tells us to re-engage, then maybe we'll look for other opportunities to do so. But I want to go with the flow, right? Like NVDA is continuing to climb a little bit higher. This is going to drive the market with it. You have Amazon doing the exact same thing. Apple's starting to turn the corner. So there's a lot of positive going on right now. So with that being said, let's get out of this trade before it just stops us out break even, because I believe that's the trajectory we're currently on. Broadcom recovering as well. I shouldn't say it's recovering, it's positive, but off of those lows, it's finding a nice bounce. And at this pace, you can see on the lower time frames, volume really starting to kick in. It's unfortunate we didn't get that $49 mark that we were looking for. That's what we really wanted. We'll eliminate some of our losses here from earlier in the morning, and we'll wait for some other quality opportunities, all right? But I wish I had double the amount of shares that I had on this specific trade, though. That's the case in which but that's not necessarily what happened, okay? Palantir, not doing too much. I know that's a Katina Man favorite. I don't trade it too often, up to 152. Adobe, that thing's been continuously getting hammered. Let's pull this down and go through a little scroll of what we got here on the watch list. As for Dell, how have you been forming? Not Rich Tech Robotics. Did you recover, Rigetti? Not really. I mean, boom. You started to form this base and starting to get somewhat of a move higher. I just heard someone to the Bills.
DJ Moore to the Bills.
Oh, I don't know.
From the Bears.
Oh, okay.
Neil is pumped. Neil's pumped. As you can see, oh man, I love it.
All right, DJ. I don't know. Is he good or?
He's pretty good.
All right. Is he a like a big time needle mover or what?
Neil Neil will be on in 13 minutes.
Is he a receiver?
Neil will be on 13
Is he a wide receiver?
I have no idea.
You have no idea? That's crazy. All right, Coin, what have you been doing? Obviously going to follow and kind of trace what Bitcoin's up to, but then here's MSTR getting slacked once again, Sharif, down to 144. I mean, poor, no, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to stop giving this guy some light, you know what I mean? Even though we'll talk about it here and there. I just want to be like poor old Saber because I don't feel any type of way.
What's going on there,
All right,
Joe?
424, we're heading to the top end of the range here on CrowdStrike, Sharif. What a monstrous recovery, but I know your Broadcom has been performing relatively well. With that being said, we got to see how the folks over here at Trader TV have been performing, considering I know you got a massive bump up, so we're going to go over to our stock tracker portfolio.
I was looking at it, though, dude. It's still in a crappy range, though.
Yeah,
like, the range is...
Fabian doing some updates over here, as you can tell. Well, was
that Fabian that did that?
Yeah, of course, man. It's still Sean. And BBA got a massive bump up.
Did it?
Yeah, I think today it did, right? There was some news and it was climbing a little bit higher there on BBAI.
Up 1.17,
in seventh place. CrowdStrike, you're gonna do me good. I know it. We're down 25% at one point on this name.
Yeah.
We were up 10% on Walmart. That's starting to come back in, down to a measly 4%. Thanks, Walmart. But anyways, aside from that, Shreve, your picks over here are doing pretty good. 16% in Thermo Fisher.
I'm getting clipped on Thermo Fisher, aren't I?
But you're up 17 on Northrop, and then you're cutting a lot off of that Broadcom. That was at 11%.
I'm still down on Broadcom?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That thing was down 11% at one point. So watch out. I'm sitting in the money spot right now. 7 is exactly where you want to be, just to essentially take this thing home at the end of the day.
All right, man. TPET is losing the $0.50. It's still above the 10 EMA on the 5. In fact, it respected it last time around, and I lamented not having got in. 10 EMA on the 5 showing me 144 to 145. Also, I want to digress here for a second and talk about a name I haven't traded today, but one that has been very respectful, as you can see here, of the 10 EMA on the 5. That is the green line for the newer traders. BATL. BATL. Oh, it is losing it and losing it in a hurry. Just lost $25, and now it's at 24. Holy cow. That was a ugly drop from 26.83. In a matter of moments, you're down into 24 on BATL. Holding up at $24, finding support here at the 20 exponential moving average. Moreover, this is the longer area of the consolidation. Look at that. We consolidated at this $24 area from 1040 to the breakout to at 1110. So there are buyers here. We know that, right? Because that's how this stayed afloat. The sellers were selling at 24.50. We know that for a fact. But the buyers were buying at 24 to 23.50. And there it goes. What a move, man. BATL is volatile. Off that 23.66 low, now almost back into 25. So BATL is making a move here. Watch out for 25 to 25.50 resistance. Right? Look at that long area of consolidation at support in the mid 25s. I want to say 25, 25, 25 and a third. So be on the lookout there. That could be resistance there for BATL. I don't know if I'm going to execute on BATL today. I'd rather something a little bit more down my wheelhouse, like TMDE. TMDE is coming in, guys. It's an unbroken lower high, lower low pattern, and it's coming into that predictable area of support. Of course, I'm talking about the green line on my chart, which is a 10 EMA. So we're going to keep a close eye here on TMDE. I'd like to execute on this one, but we're going to have to pause for a second. We're going up to the big desk for news with Adara.
Yeah, I'll start here just with another update with the Strait of Hormuz, because the Israeli UN envoy, the UN envoy from Israel saying, quote, give us a few more days and it will be much harder for Iran to disrupt vessels coming through the Strait of Hormuz. So they're basically saying that soon any disruptions at the Strait of Hormuz will likely be minimized. That came in a couple of minutes ago. This coming in just now. Target on watch, TGT, CNBC saying, I guess, having that Josh Brown has named this one a long idea. So CNBC reporting Josh Brown, long idea here, Target. Back to you.
Like, they're absolutely delirious.
That's crazy.
Joey sent me a documentary, thank you, Assassino, yesterday. I was telling Brendo about it this morning as well. It's about, sadly, the war in Ukraine and everything that's being recorded there. I see a lot of it on TikTok, more than I want to see, but this is like a full-fledged hour and 45-minute documentary of soldiers fighting for their life in the trenches, being hunted by shelling and drones.
Crazy.
I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy.
Dude, the first 3 minutes of that is insane.
It's ugly.
It's insane.
It's ugly as hell, man.
Dude, as soon as they open that APC, remember that it's like about like 18 minutes or like a couple minutes in, they open the APC, boom, rocket right into it.
It's like, you know what they're doing? Like, you know what the video shows? Like, the shelling is consistent, and then they stop the shelling. So then the soldiers come out of the trenches, and what's waiting for them are the FPV drones, just waiting for them to show their position coming out of the trenches. and then the hunting starts. And it's so ugly.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane. Like, I've watched a lot of war documentaries. I watched a lot in the war in Syria and Libya as well too. But this is some of the most, like, the documentaries, the most documented, I guess, war maybe of all time. Like, the soldiers are wearing GoPros and everything. It's called 2,000 meters to Andreevka. It's crazy.
I don't know.
It's crazy
it's not COD, definitely Rainmaker. It's not a video game.
No, it's legit not a video game.
No. I mean, I think he means it like in the general sense, like we play war games because you get desensitized and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
But this ain't no game.
It's no game, absolutely. All right, guys, right back into this market. This is what I was talking about here. City Boy, we needed that volume to kick in, so maybe we can bounce off of this trend line here and then get that ball rolling. The market's slowly curling back. I mean, we were top ticked right there on our way out, and then now it's starting to head a little bit lower. So we'll keep an eye out on this one. Silver, how have you been performing? All right, it's still holding up, Gaurav. I think this will be a little bit more of a choppy run here, but if we slowly start to curl over, I wouldn't put it past it to recover. Let's correlate that with the daily and see what we got going on. I mean, hammer here, it's still red, but a nice bounce. You're gonna have to sit through some chop on this, I think, at this point, and then maybe you can find somewhat of a recovery. What's gold been doing here? I mean, it didn't get too far. GLD up to 508. It was only 3% off its highs, a little bit more down to 466, but this trend is still fully intact. Until that breaks, and it can, I mean, then I think you might see a little bit more downside, but I just don't think that's the narrative right now in these precious metals, all right? So we'll keep an eye on that. I have nothing on the go. We were in that short earlier. We did get stopped out, a little bit of a trailing stop right there, took off half right there, took 2 losses on IBIT, took 2 losses on RGTI, and 1 for 2 on TTD. So I'm going to be patient, Sharif. Not much going on. Some choppy. Our boy Adam James was saying it's a little bit choppy. I think we're starting to fall into that neck of the woods. 11:55 lunchtime. The Wall Street boys and the larger participants definitely going to go and get some grub.
Do we call that one? Thank you. Can't get it right, 929. I love the name. Morning, guys. Thoughts on Nvidia call options volume? That's your boy Joey
Let's get right
there.
into that because I actually want to talk about that here. Sorry, just fixing my stock. AT&D, well, I'll read what you have to say there momentarily, but let's get right into the options activity here on NVDA. And we continuously talk about supply zones, and I think it's really important to document these. You have to wait until the open, or you can do it the night before. All right, so we're gonna head over to tomorrow's expiration cycle, and we talked about this. You have a massive concentration of supply, and where are we trading? South of that right now. So 185, we have 74,900. 187, we have 107,000, and that 190 mark, 155K. I mean, you're not collecting anything on that right now, but the chances are extremely high. And we do typically like to use our delta metric as a probability factor in which it will expire out of the money. And you can see that it's leaning towards that there's a 65% chance that this contract is going to expire out of the money. I would say even, or sorry, there it is. So I was reading the wrong strike price. You have a 4% chance that this contract is going to expire in the money, or a 96% chance that this thing is going to expire out of the money. Sorry, a 94% chance that it's going to expire out of the money. All right, so there's 0 chance that this is going to close by tomorrow, unless some massive catalyst steps in, that we are going to close above 190 tomorrow.
2,000 meters to
Andreevka.
Andreevka. I'm writing it in the chat for everybody who wants it. And RIIVKA. There it is. I put it in the chat for FX options 007. So anybody who wants that, it's in the chat, guys. You know, obviously the documentary starts off with a graphic warning. So yeah, heed that if you don't want to watch it.
There's another one too. I'll tell everybody. It's called Enemy in the Trees.
Enemy in the Trees.
Yeah, that one's more graphic, to be honest with you.
All right, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy. And that one has a lot more drone activity. It's crazy. And like the quality of the footage is exactly like that.
Really?
Yeah, it's insane.
Because this is like high quality. This is like 4K video.
Bro, it's insane. It's actually insane.
Guys, I am waiting here on TMDE. Somebody was asking me, like, Sharif, what's the situation? You going to execute? Okay, so this candle did breach prior bar high. So the 1150 candle, high 332. This current candle, the one that we're in, the 1155 candle, high 333. Higher low, higher high. I'm not liking what I see quite yet. I'm fine with waiting. This is a nice pullback here to allow you to get in, right? But I don't know if it's going to hold. I need proof. So I'm going to wait. I'm thinking execution price of 334 or 335. Based upon my risk analysis and on my calculator, I've entered 335 as an entry and 323 as an out. 323 would break this doji candle low, so I'm going to put 322. Typically, you know, I'm not going to give it right into the price, so I go and get stopped out. But my next move, I believe, I'm looking for TMDE as a long. I also want to mention that SOC is making a move as well. I don't want to say this one, you know, has decidedly broken the downtrend, but I think it has. It's got a couple of higher lows under its belt, area low, double bottom right there, and then a triple bottom right there, area low, higher low, and breaching, mind you, that doji candle area high, which was 282. Current bar high takes us to 289 with a couple of good green candles breaking that area low. So I'm very interested in this one for a clean break of 13, SOC. I don't exactly have the strategy ironed out yet as to where I would get in and get out and what my risk profile would be, but I will keep you guys apprised of that. So I'm keeping an eye on SOC. I'm definitely interested on executing on TMDE. And STK, this one ain't holding up. If it loses this prior bar, not prior, pardon me, the 1130 bar low, the low of which is 93, I'm out. Currently, it's still putting in generally higher lows. You can kind of see that when you zoom out with this uptrend line, but I'm not going to change my line in the sand, and I clearly see the trouble it's having at $1. My bias here is that these are good for the dollar break. Now, you know, if I could do it all over again, I'd wait a little bit to pick up this area here at 95. Now, I'm not going to change my risk profile or my entry because I got in at $1. I don't want to do that. But I realize that obviously I can dollar cost average here with a tighter stop below this area. I'm going to think about that, but I don't want to do that. So that's what I'm looking at right now. We're looking at Stack. We're looking at TMD. We're still holding TPET. TPET barely holding on to the 10 EMA on the 5. And then we're going to pause. We're going to go to Atera for happening now, and then Neil has his lesson of the day.
Let's talk about what's happening today. Nasdaq, kind of choppy here. I mean, certainly these lower highs, bit of a area of support here at 606. Let's see if we can kind of make some kind of directional move here in the S&P or in the Nasdaq. S&P 500 looking pretty similar to the Nasdaq right now. Politico, I guess, reporting that in a Trump interview, Trump said to Politico, quote, "I fired Anthropic," and that Anthropic is now in trouble because he fired them. So this President Trump and his administration versus Anthropic does appear to continue. In terms of other updates from this morning, specifically from 11 to 12, we did have more back and forth on the Strait of Hormuz. We had the the Israeli envoy to the UN basically coming out and saying, yeah, give us like some time. We're going to get the Strait of Hormuz disruptions dealt with. We also had, of course, news that there's been a court filing with regards to tariffs. New York leading some other states in trying to file a suit against the new tariffs from President Trump and his administration. Let's talk about Broadcom, AVGO. Nice year-over-year earnings growth across its segments for revenue. And, I mean, yeah, semiconductor solutions growing on a sequential basis. Infrastructure software revenue slightly actually declining on a sequential basis, but overall, great report for AVGO and Broadcom. Other earnings on watch today included JD.com, BILI or Billy. We also had AEO, Rigetti, and Viva Systems. So tons of earnings day one's plays in the mix. I want to talk as well here about Costco. Costco's going to be reporting after the bell tonight. So is MRVL, a name that I know Sean has mentioned a couple times here as well, if I could type it correctly. We'll also get IoT coming through after the bell and Gap. So tons of post-market earnings names. Lots to talk about throughout this session. And yeah, like as I mentioned, lots of news coming out throughout the day. So don't go anywhere, guys. I'll be here giving you all the news and all the information right from this desk. But in the meantime, we don't have news to talk about. We've got Neil and a lesson. So tune in, guys. Listen up. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe. Make sure to take out your notebooks for Neil's lesson.
Lesson of the day incoming, everybody. And first off, the first lesson I want to say is don't do what I'm literally doing right now. Okay, so if you're not a football fan, you're not going to understand this. But I'm a gigantic Buffalo Bills homer, and so I just heard that we actually got ourselves a wide receiver with a pulse. And being a homer, the very first reaction is to make an offer to a dude in my dynasty league where I'm probably just going to rip myself off to get a dude just because he wears a certain jersey. Now, that's not necessarily a great decision, but I'm a homer. The equivalent of that in trading would be to, not revenge trade, but FOMO trade. Like chase a move, over trade because you missed something that's early, or try to get back that early money that you felt like should have been there, and then fight, and then just start fighting the market. Sometimes that's going to work out for you, and I think like when you overtrade or revenge trade or like chase move or try to get back that quick money, a lot of times what will happen is Fabian stares down my. Okay, fine. He doesn't like. All right. So, anyways, go back to my thought. A lot of times, what'll end up happening is you might win sometimes, and that can get dangerous because if you FOMO trade, if you chase a move when you know you shouldn't have, break a rule, revenge trade, and it works, then you're going to add that to your list of, ooh, this is a good idea. That was a good strategy, and then you'll start doing it more, and that's actually dangerous because you'll be putting yourself in a bad situation with extra confidence. So I'm going to give you an example today. Like for the first time, this is, what are we, like the first week of March, right? So we've had 2 full months and a week of trading. It's been a good start to the year. Like this will be my first day where pretty much nothing went right. I didn't really step outside of the plan anywhere. I didn't make any revenge trades. I didn't FOMO anything. I had a couple of stops that didn't trigger, so I had to punch out some things manually that were a little worse than they could have been. But overall, it's the first day where pretty much nothing went awry. But you have to have the ability to stick to the plan. When this is what's happening, if we can just come to my chart for a second, where every shot I was looking for like the trend reversals. So whether it's holding through VWAP, kind of like it was yesterday in IBIT, or then waiting for it to break a downtrend with a bottom tail at a support level, and then working that long into VWAP, or allowing it to press into 40, and then break this little, there's your open range bottom, there's the trend from here, and then now it's making another trend break. Like, I'm just still sticking to the plan of action. Like, you're not gonna see me freak out. Like, as much as I'll do something stupid, like overreact to DJ Moore going to the Buffalo Bills by sending an offer, or like drafting EJ Manuel in the first round of my league because he happens to be wearing a Bills jersey, even though I know he's not a good prospect, that's fantasy football. When you're trading, it's real life and real money, and you can't do those things. So when I'm having a bad day, you probably are not going to see it in my voice or how I'm acting or in the manner in which I'm trading. I'm still going to stick to the plan, which is look for the entries that work for me. Like what led me to have positive months before and continuously positive trades. I'm just going to continue to do that until in a longer time frame it proves that it doesn't work. The FOMO can get you into a lot of trouble. The chasing past P&L can get you a lot of trouble. The revenge trading can get you into a lot of trouble. It's fun. Like, trust me, like I'm excited to be getting this guy on the Bills. And I'm probably going to make a bad deal. But I'll be happy, and maybe I'll do something silly like go out and run and buy a jersey for him because I'm a fan. But like I said, that's fantasy. And in reality, you can't do things like that. You've got to be a little bit more disciplined in your trading. Stick to your structure, whatever it might be. And that's an important thing for sure. I think ultimately everyone's going to be different. And this applies to any style. If you have an overly aggressive style of trading, you want to lean into what works for you. If you have a more disciplined style of trading, you've got to try to stick to that. Don't drop anything there, Fabian. So do whatever works for you, but ensure that you don't get caught up in the FOMO or the emotion of the moment in a particular trade, or just try to chase things when you know you've missed it. Be patient, let it come back to you. There's always another opportunity. The great thing about the stock market is it's open every single day. Well, I mean, it's open 5 days a week and when there's not a holiday, and there's always opportunities. you just have to wait for the next one to come around. I always promise to give you guys a bit of a look on the lunch. It wasn't a fajita. It's like the insides of what you get for a fajita. Like there's like some vegetables and the chicken, and then there was like rice and peas, which is pretty solid. So overall, like I think the meatballs was bad when I gave it that 5.2 this week, but I got to give this one a solid 7.8. It would get higher if there was a little more flavor to the chicken. But the rice, well, I'm probably not going to eat all the rice. There's too much of it. I'm not a big carbs guy. But the rice and peas is good. Like, there's beans and there's peas in there, so that's solid. And the vegetables are really solid. So it would get an 8, but the chicken is dry a little bit. But everything else is pretty top-notch. I'm a fan. So we're happy with it. Oh, before I throw back, I just saw in the chat here, maybe this KC just gifted 10 memberships. Shout out to you, KC. I've seen you posting a lot. You ask great questions and a great contributor to our community, so we appreciate you. So everyone scoop those up, as I see they already have, like who's getting all those memberships in there. Appreciate you. Like I said, we have a fantastic community. Trading is hard enough if you have to do it on your own, and nobody here has to, because that's what Trader TV Live is all about. We'll throw you back to the midday, and I'll see if I get this trade done and get fleeced in my fantasy football league. FOMO.
AC520 frickin' 6. She does it again, guys. Dropping 10 membies in the chat. Thank you very much, Case. Always doing the most in an absolutely great way. And I would be remiss if I didn't remind everyone who got memberships. I don't know what to put there. Got one. Mr. Stabby 2, you got one. Don't stab people, though. Oh. Jimbo. Grant is already a member. Reborn. We got Prashan, you got one. Raleen, you got one. Michael Punzalen, you got one as well. Michael Jones got one. Shout out to everybody who got one. Mike Jones. And those who did get one, I have to remind you guys that you guys can get the morning note now. Go on over to the YouTube homepage for Trader TV. You'll see the tabs at the top. And just click that posts tab right there. Mosey on down. You'll see, if you're a member, you'll see the members only little header there. And Huck Tan and Jensen gracing this morning's thumbnail for the morning note. Hit read more, and then hit that Google Drives, and it sends you to the morning note, of course, for members. Now coming, by the way, with a table of contents. And guys, now, in addition to getting 3 areas of support and resistance for the particular name, you're going to get a bias here. So we're going to include the bias so you kind of know, this is never financial advice, but it gives you direction of where to look. So shout out to Casey. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we love the morning note there. We'll hit the bang on that one. All right, guys, I want to talk about this here quick, Shreve, because this was a massive liquidity grab here. My boy, City Boy, shout out to FLA and Flow Rider. So what happened on that breakout, right? We had the volume step in. The volume on the lower time frame stepped in as you punch through the resistance zones. But what happens immediately after? It's met with some strong defense, and you go right back into the middle of that range. For me, if we breach that on this current trajectory, I'm going to be classifying that as a liquidity grab. I don't think we continue to climb higher, and I could be totally wrong. We are bouncing off the lower end of the trend line, but just with that fake out, I'm like, it's so unnecessary in my opinion. But it's the nature of the beast, and it can get frustrating. I understand that. Nice work on silver, Gorab. This is a big-time liquidity grab in the Nasdaq, also probably being fueled by the move in Tesla, but then you give the majority of that all back, okay? So if you were thinking going short at VWAP, squeezes you out and then works out, but now you can see from the tape standpoint, we're starting to pick up a little bit of momentum back to the top side. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Google bouncing off of its lows. Rigetti right back towards the volume-weighted average price, so not a horrible look right there. I don't know if I'm going to attempt a long here on Bitcoin. There could be a good opportunity, but it's just lagging the overall market right now. So what's Amazon's up to? And here's NVDA. This is going to be a big time teller on where we're going to head to next, right? Like if we have that move down, you breach through some support levels. Are we going to punch back through and kind of chop around what we've been doing essentially from 1120? Maybe, possibly, but it's tougher to navigate. So once again, if it's going to be a range bound session, be prepared to sell at the highs and then buy at the lows, okay? And I think that's kind of been the narrative so far in a couple of the names. Tesla will go back to one more time, bouncing off the trend line. What we want to see is price compress a little bit more and then just have that pent up kind of demand in a specific direction. And I think it can lead us into a good trend potentially here with Tesla.
All right, I want to speak about my stack trade because this is something that it's hard to account for. So I got in at the dollar and I had a very specific risk parameter that I was insisting on following. And that risk parameter took me to 92.5 pennies. I had a stop there. And I had a stop with a 2-penny spread on a 95 penny name. And it was so illiquid that look where I ended up getting stopped out. 86.5 pennies. From 92.5 to 86.5. That is almost an entire risk unit. So it is super frustrating on these type of names. Now, the way that I could have accounted for it was to have a bigger spread between the triggering price and the limit price. So the triggering price tells the computer sell, and the limit price tells the computer sell up to this amount. So, for example, you could tell the computer, for example, I want to get out at 92, but pay all the way down to 90. So that would be a 2-penny spread. I had that 2-penny spread. Irrelevant. There was an area of illiquidity there where there was just no shares for me to get out. And that is super frustrating. Now, there's other ways that you can account for that. You can, the first way I just mentioned, having a bigger spread between the trigger and the limit. That's one. Two, you could put marketable orders. I don't tend to like to use marketable orders. And then three is, to just watch it. So that if that area of liquidity comes, you can hit the flatten key. That's obviously not always an option when you're on the show. So I'm quite annoyed by that. So stack almost wipes out my entire gain from TPET, despite the fact that my risk unit on stack was half of that of TPET. So a little frustrated there. In any event, focusing on the next trade. And I was asking Bovin, SOC looks fantastic. So you had that downtrend break, and now you're clearing that area high. I want to say that doji candle at 1120, the high of which was 1282. And now you're at 13, and you're pretty close to 1311, which is the day high that we printed at 1225. That's a nice V-shaped recovery. So good look here for SOC. I've been also watching TMDE. I'm waiting for this pesky downtrend to break, but I'm also very alive to the fact that these are the A to A plus setups, at least in my submission, where you have a nice, very big move, a very clean move here on TMDE, and then you have a prolonged downtrend. Let's see if Fibs can offer any insight into this. So right around 50. Now, I'm not going to base anything on Fibs, just to see what the percentage retracement was from the breakout area. That's what I'm using that for. What I'm looking for is a decisive, and I really do mean decisive break of that downtrend line on a closing basis. Obviously, the candle has to close green, right? So that's what I'm waiting for there on TMD. I'm very biased that this one does hold and breaks out. If it does, I'm going to be super involved. I've already gamed out a couple of different price scenarios and what my risk to reward would be on them and where my stop would be. Obviously, those could evolve, which will necessitate me, obviously, to analyze that again. But TMDE, definitely watching. Got out of TPET. Okay, I'm not liking what I see on TPET anymore, where I feel like we're getting that rounding top, right? Where we get into that, a key area of either technical or psychological resistance. In this case, it's a bit of both. The 150 is also the psychological, and then you're getting a technical resistance as well vis-a-vis these topping tail candles. And then you're kind of putting in that rounding shape. So if it ends up doing that, obviously, I'm not going to trade it to a long, but if it ends up holding like it looking right now, look at that. It's disproving me immediately here, which I kind of don't mind. 153, highs 157. Definitely interested in getting back into this one if I like what I see. So those are the two that I'm biased on at the moment. TPET, and TMDE, with which I don't mind. Also SOC. SOCs coming into the 10 EMA with a big red candle here. It's just lost prior bar. I would if I was to get in here at 12 3/4, I would give it to this candle low, the 1150 candle low, the low of which is 1260. So it would be about 10 to 15 pennies worth of risk, but it looks pretty deep here as a retracement above it. So I think you had something on that where he said it had to take out 13 decisively for him to get in. It looks like he's right at the moment. So that is my look there. And then GXAI, guys, this one is going to lose its spot on the side chart momentarily here. But for the range traders who don't mind trading these small cap gappers below VWAP as a long, there is an area of support here. Take a look at what we did between 9:30 until about 9:50-10. We held this 190 high 180 area, and here we are again. So if you like trading ranges, this one looks like a good range. Well, obviously, I would put my stop below the 9:30 candle, which is 186. So that's another look for those who are interested in TPET, Joey.
All right, good look there, brother. There goes the market all the way down. Again, right to where we had that previous out. Liquidity grab, Gorev hit that one on the head. That's all this was, I think, in my opinion. And then sure enough, you get that move lower. It's unfortunate we didn't re-engage on this one. So aggressive move. We have the big boys selling pretty strong. So we'll keep an eye out on that. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to be able to, I shouldn't say that. I just don't know if I'm locked in enough in order to kind of, lock in, Joe. To kind of engage into this market. So I mean, we can find something, but we don't really want to force it, right? Like we're red on the day. It's a small red day, and I have no issues. I mean, yesterday was a pretty good one for us. The day before as well, we did take a loss on Monday, but I mean, if 2 red days, we'll see what we can come back tomorrow and see if we can rock and roll and find some high quality opportunities. They were there, right? I mean, TTD to the short side, we should have took advantage of, and we didn't take enough share size on that one. So. I mean, don't force it if you don't see it, right? Just enjoy the day, says Pfizer. I mean, absolutely, man. I don't know what the temperature is like out there in sunny Toronto, but we'll find that out later. So, yeah, let's keep an eye out on some things, guys. 4 degrees, says Assassino, giving us that. So a staggering 4 degrees. You will see people slowly start to come out in their shorts if they haven't already. I was on okay, so listen to, that's insane. It needs for me to be wearing shorts, it needs to be 25 plus. Anyways, so yeah, 25 plus, right? Yeah, all day, 25 plus is shorts weather. So I'm walking, over the weekend, I'm walking Milo, Danny Boy, around the peninsula, a different one though, just by the lake here in the city, and bro was running with shorts and no shirt. It was like minus 13. I'm like, well, I really hope that he was going to be doing the polar bear dip or something along those lines. Why you would do that in Lake Ontario, I don't know, but to each their own, right? But they had no tarp, minus 13 or whatever it was over the weekend. So there it is, guys. The market now, the TQ's down 2%, and we're really starting to pick up momentum here. Microsoft is still holding up, but I think leading the way right now is Apple. Apple is selling aggressively, and so is NVDA. So that's most definitely going to drag. There we go. We're getting that breach, and now at this point, I think we're going to head into that $49 mark on the TQQs. Okay, so we got stopped out right here. The liquidity grab at 50.20, never re-engaged on that opportunity, and then now I think we might start to pick up a little momentum. Selling the bottom of the range is a little more difficult, so maybe I'll just go smaller size on this trade to see if we get that aggressive selling price action. I mean, this is a triple bottom. If this floor breaks, watch out for that move to 49. So that could be 20 cents or something along those lines. But I just don't love the risk to reward. Why? Because you can get that squeeze back into the middle of the range. And it's like, where am I going to determine if I'm actually wrong and just not hopping in and out of trades, taking paper cuts left, right, and center, right? So we'll keep an eye out on that one. I wouldn't be surprised if we head into that level. But I think it was Miss Yes asked us about this. The 185 calls expiring tomorrow. You had that little bit of a pop, but we talk about these supply zones through these strike prices. We're now at 181. The options market was already telling us there's a 94% chance or 96% chance that these contracts are going to expire out of the money. Okay, so we have to take that into consideration. It's very important stuff. Use your delta metric is also as a percentage gauge in which the contracts will expire in and out of the money. And for a long time, shortly after I was like really writing and getting into the depths of the options language, because that's all it is essentially, is that using this as a metric helps. And then what I learned even along the road and talking with you guys is just hiding within these supply zones and even above them, especially earlier in the expiration cycle, can really work wonders for you.
All right, guys, TPET is going. It's back into the high. It's at 157 right now, up 84 and a third. I'm keeping an eye on that, but I'm more interested in executing on TMDE. It's broken trend. I'm waiting for a little bit more. This is going to require me to pack the patience. I'm waiting for about 333 or 334, all the way up to 335 on TMDE. It's now broken above the trend line. We still have about 2 minutes for this candle to close. So why is it showing me a completely different price than the one I'm looking at here? Showing me 323. Oh, wow. Look at this, Joey.
What's that?
What does that price say right there? What does that price say right there?
That's hella delayed, bro. Look at that one.
You see that?
Yeah, I told you,
see
bro,
that?
the market, I tell you, I see this every day. It'll print. You'll see over here, it'll print 8 cents or so higher or lower than there. That's why I'm saying that you can't use TWS as an intraday platform.
No, man.
It just doesn't
well, it
work.
doesn't typically do that. This is new. Like I've been using this like since 2000.
But based off the level 2. Yeah. But you can use it at 2000, but you also didn't have something, you know what I mean?
Hold on, I canceled some gateways.
Right?
I canceled some gateways.
You know what I mean?
think that's
so
what,
it's a delay,
it is. Yeah,
man. You can't, it's not, I don't know if it's direct.
I think it might have to do with the fact that I canceled gateways. There goes TPET, guys, into a new intraday high. It is $1.60. It's really going here. Very good strength on TPET. Looking to take out that 160. I've got a bias now that this goes into 175, if not 2. TPET's really going. Look at picking it up. If it does drop off, I want to say at that 155 area, because 155, if it continues, right? Like we haven't cleared 155 by that much yet, but there is a flat top that really kind of gave way there at 154, 155. Good look for TPET, up 88% and looking to do more damage. Good look. Yeah, I see it, Bubba. Shout out to you, my man. TWS is slow at, says Hangry Wife. Yeah, I completely agree with you. People hate this platform like they I don't know, like they hate things that they don't like. But I've just gotten I've just gotten accustomed to using it, even though it is so bad. Right?
Shout out my boy Martin. He knows what's good, man. Martin.
Yeah, he says the same thing. Das for the win. Okay, Joe. Okay, all right. You can tell Joey Options like that, man.
If you're at home,
it's expensive though, Joey.
Like again, you're.
How much are you paying for that a month now?
I don't have.
I know, but when you were,
but it's CAD. Yeah, I was like 2 something.
Jeez Louise. Yeah, well, if you're taking in like 4 figures,
it came with so many sick features like market replay. I remember I told you in my earlier days, I would literally get to put in 2 sessions and work on multiple executions. Why? Because I would replay the whole day, and you would get the time and sales of everything.
It's amazing. I think a lot of people love that.
So like you can replay the previous day, and that's what I did.
Martin says it's 150. Of course, we get rinsed every time.
Well, he's American. He's probably 150 American. And did you get the, make sure, I don't know, do you have the replay feature on that one? Right? So
I don't make the rules. All right. ENPH along says no. Let's have a look at Enphase. I'm still waiting for TMDE to set up. That was a false break, by the way. Happy I didn't get into that. I want to mention this as well. I said very little about it. I'm going to get to Enphase in 1 second, but QURE looks fantastic over here. I don't know who called this out earlier. I do apologize for forgetting, but QURE looking fantastic on the 5, and it is now replacing GXAI, which has lost the bid in a hurry. QURE. Very clean, and this might be an entry point here. I'm going to wait for the first 5-minute candle to make a new high, because this candle breached the 10 EMA on the 5 pretty aggressively right there, that 1125 candle. So this one just did the same thing. So I'm going to wait for a break above prior bar to get into QURE, but this looks really good. I want to look at Enphase in a second, but I need to set up my possible trade here on QURE. So I'm going to just put that up on the side. So if we're going to risk this amount, so let's say, for example, we get in at around 1094. Let's go 1094 with a stop below prior area low at 1077, right? So that would be, okay, great. So now I know exactly what I'm going to do on that one, on QURE. Let's look at Enphase, though, for no-no. NPH, what's Enphase up to? Not looking like much on the day, brother. It looks very, very weak. What the hell are all these topping tail candles over here? Let's take a look if a news catalyst came in for Enphase. What do we got? Vistra expands, okay. Oh, 12-12. I'm just making sure that this didn't come in earlier, okay? It didn't. Okay, so there's something here with Enphase. So that came in at 12-12, so about, 16 minutes ago, give or take. Did this candle, that candle was 12-12. Okay, so here's the headline, guys, on Enphase. It retraced right away, but this is the headline. Let's bring it in so you guys can see it. Vistra announced an expansion of its battery aggregation program to include Enphase Energy's IQ batteries, further scaling its residential virtual power plant to strengthen grid reliability across Texas. We know they need it. Remember the ice storm? Man. The program, Battery Rewards, is offered through Vistra's flagship retail electricity brand, TXU Energy, and allows eligible Enphase customers to earn incentives by exporting stored battery power to the grid during periods of high demand. As Texas continues to expand rapid load growth, demand-side solutions are becoming increasingly important, said Sam Sen. He's Vistra's Vice President of Energy Transition Solutions. By bringing additional flexible resources like batteries online during critical periods, we can strengthen grid reliability and serve more load using the infrastructure already in place.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Go ahead, Joey.
There's something going on here. It's really subtle, but I'm just looking at the volume, and it's really increasing. There's a bunch of sell pressure, step in aggressively, and then we bounce off of this support level once again. So I got to keep my eye on it. Sorry to interrupt you, but there might be a little something coming in and potentially stepping into the market here.
All right, no, I was done, Joey. I just wanted to read that out for, no, go ahead.
Look at the tape here, guys. Let's focus on the tape because this is where we're going to see the volume stepping in. And you can see this is going to be the largest 1-minute print since 10:30 this morning, okay? So let's focus on this. The momentum to the downside is really picking up, and that's why I wanted to get involved in just like that. That's what I'm saying. Thank you for just I told you guys, you got to read the tape. Always big on that. I said it to Joey.
There's a U.S. drafts rule. You require license for AI chips.
Just going through the tape, I'm like, there's something going to happen, and look at that volume spike there. Derek, what do you have for us?
So I'm seeing reports here, U.S. drafting a rule requiring licenses for AI chip exports across the globe. That would require Nvidia and AMD, which are named specifically in the story, to have U.S. approval before they can ship anything. So again, U.S. reportedly drafting a rule that would require licenses for AI chip exports worldwide. Again, the story does specifically name Nvidia and AMD. Back to you.
Right on. I mean, that was great, man. That was pretty good tape reading. I mean, I just noticed something just weird going on. I'm like, hold on, something's going to happen here momentarily. And sure enough, bang, Adair to bring us that news as well, too. And there goes the market flushing to the downside. So a nice little break of that support level, and that's what I'm talking about. Let's see if we can hold on to this trade into 49s.
Attaboy, Joey. Good job there. Still waiting here on TPET. TPET just got into the high day, 164. If you guys are looking for an entry on TPET, might be that 155er. Here comes 156. We're showing 156. I'm still waiting on TMDE. I'm now waiting on QURE. I don't have any other trades that I'm interested in other than TMDE, QURE, and TPET. TPET, coming into this area here, I want to see if it holds up at 155 or comes down into the 10 EMA at 153. So that's what we're looking at there. I don't have anything else. So that is kind of the look there. Continuing to watch into 155. TMD continuing to drop. QURE continuing to drop. What else do we have? Any other names? Maybe south of $1, guys, if there are any. Tag me with them because the trades I'm waiting for right now are not coming in, and I'm not really seeing anything else that I like, quite frankly. So PDYN was one that I had on my side chart. I took it off because it was not setting up. I think I'm going to take off SOC and put PDYN back on. Yeah, shout out to Moon. Moon got it there. He understood. Nvidia crashing. Yes, I know, brother. Yeah. We just brought you that news. It is basically, as Dan put in the chat, there. Thank you, Dan, the man, frickin' Emmons. Where is it? He had it there. I don't know. I think I lost it. Give me a sec to move back up. There it is. U.S. drafts rule requiring licenses for AI chips export worldwide, of course, affecting Nvidia and AMD. They're both dropping pretty aggressively right now. So be on the lookout for that. Continuing to watch TPET, though, as this one's coming into 155. This is the buy area here. Now I want to watch. So you can do a number of things, right? You can give it to the area low. That's a doji candle at 12.10. The low of that is 145. You can also give it to the half dollar, which should be a psychological area of support if you get in at 155. Right? So that's my look there. I'm also seeing a doji candle here forming on QURE at the 10 EMA on the 5. So I'm going to keep my eye out on that. Shout out. Lots of money on GXAI, says Leanne. I am out, but that military contract is not going away. Shout out to Leanne. I hope you print up multiple storms. We have to go to Adara at the big desk.
Of course, yeah, we do have that AMD and Nvidia story with regards to the U.S. reportedly drafting a new rule with regards to AI shipments. And this is coming out around the same time. I reported this probably like an hour ago now, but I'm seeing this circulate again with new context, so I do want to mention again. I mentioned earlier CNBC reporting that some U.S. states are suing to stop Trump's latest worldwide tariffs. Now, the Oregon Attorney General weighing in as well, saying specifically 12 U.S. states are expected to be involved in this suit. So decent proportion here of these U.S. states are going to be reportedly involved in that suit about Trump's new tariffs in the U.S. They're trying to stop these new tariffs after, of course, the former AIPA tariffs were ruled against by the Supreme Court a couple of weeks ago now. Back to you.
As Matthew McConaughey would like to say, I mean, thanks, Indy, for that. Essentially, that was all volume and tape, really. I'm just like, hey, there's something really weird going on right now. And then sure enough, there was like moments later, we got some news, and the tape was there. It displayed itself. So yeah, we're just fortunate enough to be able to participate in that support level break and a catalyst coming in at a key time as well. So yeah, I mean, it worked out. I got in the amount of size that I wanted to on the initial short side. Even though we did get stopped out, break even over there, we were fortunate enough to just catch this breath and then the retest of the break at that low. And then now it's really starting to work for us there, Sharif.
No, I'm just, you got to hang on a minute.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. So there it is, another clean flush to the downside. Maybe a little partial heavy, but that's okay. I'm sitting on approximately 20% remaining of this initial position, so let's ride. I wouldn't be surprised if we can make an additional leg lower. I know some individuals were asking us to take a look at the options chain, but first I want to take a look at the charting here on the triple Qs to see where that next potential level can be. So let's go to a higher time frame. So we breached through that support level. We're kind of just in no man's land right now. We could find a bounce here. I think this would be a stronger structure around 48.52, where we could find that next level, obviously depending on what NVDA, AMD, and the other Mag 7 names are up to. But I think this can be a potential target here, 48.57. And there you go. You put in a new low on T-trips. All right, so moving forward, let's take a look at what the big boys are doing right now. I don't even know if I'm red or green at this point, to be honest with you. I'm not going to be looking until later on. NVDA, but if not, we've eliminated a lot of the losses. So a support level break there, 181. Now we're closing south of that 190 mark. We're way south of that, 11 points. Now down to 179.85. Is Apple continuing to sell here as well too? Kind of. So a support level there. Let's see if that breaks. If that is the case, then we're most definitely going to see a little bit of a deeper slide here in. Oh, Meta getting absolutely slacked right now, punching through that support, and then now down to 653 with a high of around 670. Okay, so the big boys not really performing too well right now. We have to keep an eye out on them. If there's anything specific that you guys want to go over, then by all means, just feel free to tag me in the chat and we'll do so. With that being said, let's take a look at the NAS and see what the options chain is telling us. If there's any outstanding size, that's going to be like, hey, okay, we are going to continue this downward move. So we'll go to tomorrow's expiration cycle. Nothing substantial here, guys. 615, we're not even close to that. That's an extremely out of the money strike price. You're still collecting 57 on that sucker. That's pretty good. I mean, considering the options market also giving us an 80% chance, a little bit more, 88% chance that this thing is going to be expiring out of the money. Now, as for the 4-hour chart, this contract was once worth $3,200, now worth $55.
All right, man. All right. I was about to get into TPET again. I'm watching it kind of hold 155, so the bias is currently right. It's holding 155. I think I should be able to manage this one if I get in here. So let me just scroll back up. So 158 I said, and I would give it to, okay, so let's do this again. So I want to get in at 15, let's just go 159, and I'll give it, 159. And then we want to give it to about we want to give it to 153. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, good. So we're going to get long here. We're going to risk a little bit. And we're going to go 153 out and for that many shares. Good. So let's see what we get on this. See if TPET still has the juice. So if it loses 155, I'm out. I'm going to keep an eye out on that separately. I got into QRE. I need to keep these trades beside each other. Right? QURE. Let's go Nasdaq. And we'll take off QURE from here. And we'll put in, let's see, who else? PDYN. There we go. So that's kind of what I'm looking at there. Let's see if TPET loses that 155. You know, it's got a couple of red candles. Let's see if it wicks below it. Also, QURE, it broke above the 10 EMA on the 5, broke trend, but it's not exactly rocketing up. So my bias on this one is that we get into 11. My 2R, though, on QURE is 1128. My 3R is 1147. High day is 1133. So I probably would take it out around the $0.25 if it does come into there. So that's what I'm looking at there for QURE. I'm still super interested in executing on TMDE, but it still hasn't set up in the right way. It's still in a prolonged downtrend. It's holding at the 20 on TMDE. It's not really putting in a whole lot of higher lows. So I think I've got some time for this one to, to do its thing. I think that when this one breaks, it's going to be quite violent and quite good, but you never really know exactly what the situation is. So we're going to keep an eye here on TMDE, TPET, and QURE, Joey.
All right, good stuff. So we had a strong squeeze right here, guys, and now we're starting to give that back. That's a positive sign for the short, that is, if you're looking that way. But the volume was a little bit alarming. I've noticed that the Nasdaq does this quite often, is that they'll make these legs down, and then they'll have this squeeze-type price action, getting all the Devin Haney hands out of there, and then sure enough, we'll make another move. But I wouldn't be surprised if it finds a recovery. It's really hard to sustain those dumps, especially in the larger names, because we had, what was Buddy's name yesterday? He was buying 1 million shares here, and then you just have so many large participants who's like, oh, okay, it's down a couple bucks. Let's start to gobble it up and just kind of churn shares throughout the intraday session and close book come the end of the day. So with that being said, keep an eye on the tape. We can put our quote highlight on. Oh, that didn't feel good. We can put our quote highlight on. You can see there's no definitive ladder really on this one. So for me, the level 2, I like to focus on the tape right there, but the level 2 with that quote highlight not really giving us a definitive direction right now. So got to sustain those dumps, bro. I know drop system. You're telling me GXJ. Jets fan. I'm sorry, man. Trendline break in the 4-hour on SoFi. Yeah, let's take a look at SoFi there for you. Me and the boys in the group chat, I give them the most amount of heat in our group chat. I said, I don't know what's worse, to be a Leafs fan or an Edmonton Oilers fan. Because the Edmonton Oilers had four first overall picks in a row, and then they couldn't make the playoffs and yet to win the cup. So
but they've gone a couple of times to the Stanley Cup final.
Back
they keep
to back,
missing,
and they
right?
lost,
Missing,
right?
Yeah.
So shout out to Connor McDavid. I mean, it's tough. So I don't know what's worse, to be a Leafs fan or an Oilers fan. You tell me if anybody in the chat is from Edmonton. We'll call it that one. I'm sorry about that. I didn't mean that. Okay, SoFi, trendline break. What were you looking at? I don't really see anything right now. If I were to draw something, it would definitely be here. That's a nice inverted hammer candle on the way up. But what I'm looking at from a potential trend line, as I get in a little bit more depth of this chart, is that we still have those consistent higher lows. So we're just in Chopsville, USA right now. Until we break through this, that's when I would be looking to participate. And I would also want to see a kick up in the volume as well, too.
All right, TPET is definitely fighting with that 155. It's unbroken lower highs. Ever since that 164 area high, 1230 bar lower high, 1235 bar lower high, and here comes 155 again. There's a buyer here at 155, but for how long? I don't know. I did what the beak with a tiny amount of shares at that I think 161, but it's not really It's not really juicing up back into that level. It's still holding up the 10 EMA, so I'm packing the patience, but I'm unsure how I feel about this one. Shout out to Tisha. Tisha's back. BATL is the only ticker I've touched today, but done and closing up now. Get it, Tisha. I kept my eye on BATL, but I didn't like what I saw when I sat down. Looks like you were in it, obviously, in the good times here on the uptrend. But when I sat down at 11 o'clock, it started doing this long area of consolidation. In fact, kind of putting lower highs now. It feels like a flat bottom break coming through 24. So good on you for that. I don't have anything on BATL. Holding on TPET. Got stopped out of QURE. I'm not really sure how I got stopped out of that. I put my stop below this bar low at 1072, and somehow I got stopped out at 1074. So I'm either typed that in wrong or something happened there on TPET, or on QURE. So I might re-execute on that one, especially if it takes out 1090. I'm probably going to get back in, given the amount of bottoming tail candles that are coming in at this level. So if we start curling up on QURE, taking out 1090, I'm going to give that one the old college try again. We're going back up to Adara.
Seeing some more details here in this Nvidia AMD story. So in case you guys missed it, we did report earlier that the Trump administration are reportedly considering a rule that would restrict AI chip shipments globally without U.S. approval. So you would need U.S. approval to ship shipments across the globe. More details here from this Bloomberg report. This regulation would require companies to seek U.S. permission for basically any AI chip export. So specifically with regards to AI chips, this would of course heavily impact Nvidia and AMD, which is also outlined within the report. These rules would basically make the U.S. government a gatekeeper within the AI industry, and the specific approval process would be based on how much computing power a company wants. Again, this is all according to this Bloomberg report. Nvidia and AMD got hit particularly hard. We'll take a look at some of these other chip companies. AVGO, I mean, this is already earnings day one play. Not too much of a move here. You could potentially look at maybe some of these memory plays. Yeah, Micron did drop here. SNDK is still dropping. So again, memory and chip plays on watch with this Bloomberg story. Trump admin considering a rule that would restrict AI chip shipments across the globe unless there is approval from the U.S. in virtually all cases. Back to you.
Thank you very much. Yes.
So it's like, so how do you look at that, Sharif? Like, hey, you can have compute, but not as much compute as us. You got to ask us first.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Basically, I think what they're responding to there is the umpteen amount of stories that you and I are reporting, and everybody here, about things ending up in Mongolia and in Singapore and Vietnam. And so I think that, you know, the regulators have kind of had it with these stories, making them look a little foolish. So they're going to want to put their foot down a little bit. We'll see. We'll see if it works out. But it's very interesting. I see PDYN, Bovin. It's making a nice move here. It seems to have a flat top at $10. Bovin talking about PDYN. Not a bad look for the name on the day. Here it is, up 31 2/3. Sorry, let me throw in the ticker. I do apologize. We're still below the pre-market high on PDYN. And by the way, there was ample amount of volume in that pre-market. In fact, substantially higher than we're doing now. So you need to be alive to these levels because there could be large bag holders here. It's not just a light amount of shares. These candles here all had between 500,000 and 300,000 shares a pop on the 5, substantially higher than we're doing. We're doing about 50, 30, 40, 50, 60, something like that right now. So a lot lower volume than what we had been doing. Keeping an eye here on TPET as it works right back in to that 160 area, still holding up at the 10 EMA on the 5. Just going to wet the beak here. Oops, that's not the one we want. Small share size, obviously, and I'm waiting for the bulk of the shares to come into my 2R, which is 169er. It's actually 171, but I'm going to take it out at 169er if it comes in, of course. I'm seeing a move here on TMDE. It is breaking out again, but there it is. I've been bamboozled on this one before. I haven't executed on TMDE, but I'm really interested. So let's see if there's continuation on this candle or not, what the situation is. Current bar low, 314, current bar high, 330. Let's give this one a bit of a look here. So if I want to execute on this one, let's go ahead with that. And let's just say we'll get in at 333s. I'll have to give this to current bar low, which takes us to 314. So let's say that. Okay, so that is the share size. Good. All right, perfect. So we'll see what we get. We won't get upset. There goes TPET into the day high again at 6.4.
We're still holding substantial amount here, looking for a move into 69, waiting for that 69er to show up. Seller at 64, not surprised. 66 now, Joey. That is the high of the day. Let's see if TPET's got the juice to let some of this profit loose. No, we're not going to get it quite yet. 166 still showing up. 165 now on the PET. Let's see if this one can work in to 175. Look, typically when we get into this 2/3 of a dollar, who knows? Who knows? We could get into 2, we could get into 175. We're going to pack the patience and see what we get. Very alive as well to the TMDE move. I'm very, very much waiting for a move above 30 pennies, and the bias above 30 takes me back to the 1220 candle where we rejected 30. We haven't been above 30 since that 1220 candle, and here we are again in the 1230-45 candle, and we can't clear 30. So I'm looking for 33s and hoping that I just don't get in on a wick. Back to TPET, in the 66 we go. High a day, 67. Looking for a move into 69, not getting it. There's a whole bunch of selling here at 66. And TPET is not one of those ones, Joey, where you get aggressive price spikes that takes out all the buyers like at 5 or 6 different penny levels. You're typically, stair-stepping up. And, that's good and bad in the sense that you don't get caught on the downtrend and, get stopped out or not stopped out like me on the other one. And, but you also don't get those big price spikes up that take out a bunch of levels and take out your orders. And so it works both ways. Seller, huge seller at 166. We can't shake them. I can't shake them. I can't shake them. You ever watch Independence Day?
Years
with
ago.
Will Smith.
Yeah,
remember that first fighter scene when the alien aircraft are chasing their F-18s?
No, I wouldn't. I can't recall.
Well, I'll just tell you. Okay. All right. So there's like the F-18s. They're Super Hornets. They're flying away from the alien aircraft. So it's Will Smith and his wingman, right? And so Will Smith is like, "Yo, he's closing on you. He's closing on you."
Yeah.
He's like, "I can't shake him. I can't shake him," because the guy's airplane was just too strong. There it goes into 67 again, Joey. Let's see. We couldn't get into 69. So keep an eye on this.
You know what's
Go
a
ahead,
good
Joey.
movie? What's that Bruce Willis movie where he goes and destroys the asteroid there?
Armageddon.
Armageddon.
So
man.
good.
What is that?
So good.
Song, man. That song is iconic. Yeah. Oh, guys.
I don't want to close my eyes.
Yeah.
I don't want to fall asleep because I miss you, babe.
Yeah.
And I don't want to miss a thing. Dara's getting it. You're getting it. There we go, bro. Let's go.
Your planet? Would you go on the...
Bro, I'll go to Mars for free, bro. What kind of a question is that, man?
Would you go on to the asteroid and then do that for? So say you have a daughter and her man's there. Would you sacrifice yourself and stay on the asteroid so everything detonates and he can go back to his wife?
If I say no here, I look this big. So I'm saying yes. Yes, Adara.
Well, it's very timely that Joe's bringing up Armageddon the same day that you mentioned your friend Ben Affleck and his Netflix acquisition. Things are full circle over here on the Trader TV Live Midday Show.
There you go. There you go.
All right, man. Let's rock and roll here. I wanted to pull something up, but it's irrelevant right now. Excuse me. We're going to take a little bit more off here.
These guys are crapping on me in the chat.
49.31.
I'm sorry, guys.
It depends how much I like them. If I didn't like them, then I'd be like, sorry, man.
I'm letting them all talk, bro. They can talk all they want.
But a nice move there to the downside. This is what I wanted to bring up here, guys. Miss Yes, I'm glad that, I don't know if you pulled the trigger on this, but this is a really waterfall type price action. Consecutive selling. I mean, we've been doing this for about 35 minutes now, and it doesn't seem like we're going to find any form of a bottom. That's why I wanted to wait. I should have held it a little bit longer before I started going partial crazy on this specific trade, but that's okay, because what I realized from one point is that at this level at 48.65, I've seen the weakness in NVDA continuously going with no signs of a bottom. That's why I decided to hold that to 49.30 before I took that next half out. Okay, so we took some more off right there. We're satisfied with that. A nice little trade to the downside in the overall market, and that's exactly what we wanted to do. One more movie here. It's totally off topic, but how about Ghost with our boy Patrick Swayze?
Of course, bro. That's a classic, bro. With Demi Moore.
All right. Yeah,
is it Demi or Demi?
I don't even know. I didn't even know it was Demi Moore or Demi in there.
I love you, Joey.
Is it Megan or Megan?
Oh.
Well, I'm going to say Megan.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and say Megan.
All right.
But yeah, she was a heavyweight in the 80s and 90s, Demi Moore, bro. She went out with Ashton Kutcher. She was like twice his age.
Who's Ashton's married to Mila.
Come on, bro.
It's my boy Ashton.
You want to take a quick look there, Joey?
Yeah, pull it up.
All right. Let's bring it in.
I think Sydney.
Demi Moore, yeah, she's going to be right away. Yeah, well, you know, people age, Joseph. She's 63 years old, right?
She's in Friends, right?
No, you're thinking of Courtney Cox.
Courtney Cox.
Yeah, they look alike.
Never
but
was a friend.
Demi Moore Ghost, so you can kind of see what she looked like there. Yeah, look, she had the boy's haircut. Remember that?
I like the. What is it called? The bob cut or whatever.
I have no idea. But that was a style in the 80s.
I didn't know that was Demi Moore.
That's Demi Moore, my guy.
Pull up my.
Remember, you never saw G.I. Jane?
Of course I seen G.I.
That's her, bro.
Yeah,
G.I. There it is. First one, you type in G.I. There she is. She shaved her head for that, man.
I like that.
Demi Moore, my guy.
My girl Sydney Crawford there.
Cindy Crawford.
Cindy?
Sydney?
Yes.
No, it's Cindy, my boy.
Yeah,
Cindy Crawford. Yeah, this is my boyhood crush here. She had a workout. She had a workout tape, Joey, and my sister used to there was like the case there. Anyway, I love Cindy Crawford, man. That's 90s right there, my guy. That's 90s.
That's crazy. Yeah, I know.
All right, guys, we're still holding pieces here on the PET, and we're looking for a move into 69, showing up 66. Eddie's back. That usually means I said something good, because if I don't say either something good or something bad, he'll attack me. If I say something good, he'll compliment me. It is something good. There is the PET in the 69. It's got a cross though, Joey. We're waiting for the bulwark of the shares to print here into 69, and we are not getting the crossing, as everybody and their mother is looking at this level because they wanted to put a damper on my long party, but that's okay. We're going to pack the patience and we're going to see what we get, and we will not get upset. Shut it to the man. Let's go ahead. Demi Moore nows a lot of Latin. What does that mean, Eddie?
She's Spanish.
Nows a lot of Latin. Like, does she speak a lot of Latin?
She can Spain.
Say it again, Fabian. That's crazy. Well, okay.
Is she who's in the Scream movies?
That's Courtney Cox. Bro, they're not the same person, bro. They're not the same person, Joseph Options.
I'm getting them mixed up.
All right, let's put a side-by-side there of Courtney Cox and Demi Moore, because your boy Joey Opsh. All right, so Courtney Cox and then Demi Moore. There we go. Can we get a side-by-side?
You see where I'm getting at here, though?
Yeah. You're not wrong, Joey.
What I mean? So, like,
hold on. You're
really
absolutely not wrong. Yeah.
You can't really blame me for kind of
certainly a lot of. Well, that's them. That's actually them together now.
All right.
This is not that.
So, I mean, I'd be like, hey, are you guys sisters?
Yeah. You got something there, Joey. I can't hate on you too much for that. There's a lot of similarities there if you don't know who they are. Landman?
Landman.
Oh, with Billy Bob?
Yes.
I heard that. It's amazing. What is it, Prime?
Stand Billy
Prime?
Bob, man.
Okay, Randy, we have to go to Derek because she's got breaking news.
Big drop for ORCL. Oracle planning thousands of job cuts as data center costs rise. ORCL getting hit here. Full disclosure, you guys know I'm not personally bearish on this, but I am bearish for our picks of the year. ORCL planning thousands of job cuts as data center costs rise. Not that shocking. Back to you.
There goes TPET into the high, my boy. We take out 69. We're back positive on the day. We're holding pieces. Here comes 74. There's coming 75. Give me the print. The print is there. We're spinning the freaking money on this one. We're back in the PET. We're doing it live. We're not going to get dissuaded. You piece of crap stock.
Are you back from the dead?
We're back from the dead, my guy. We're back in the positive. There it goes, the PET, man.
I'm going off track here, but I'm going to be honest, guys. Landman sucks, and so does Yellowstone.
You're the first person I've ever heard say that. Hey, Sia. Sia's in the house.
What's up, Sia?
Bro, everybody talks positively about Landman. Like, you're the first person that I've heard say that.
Yeah.
Guys, one's if you like Landman. Two, if you don't like Landman, throw it in right now. I've never watched it, though. I'm just hearing everybody. Brendo said it's good. Who else? I think...
two? We got a bunch
Joe
of Schmo, two.
Everybody's saying ones, bro. There's bare ones there, man.
99%.
There goes TPET again into 79. We're holding here, Joey.
This is really going, man. His daughter. Yo, Dead's trading, bro. You're a joker. We like you, brother. We like you. But the PET is on a breakout now, and now how the bias that this one is headed to $2. 179 high on TPET. Watch out, guys. This is really rocketing up. What a clean hold, man, of the 10 exponential moving average on the dang 5. I'm happy I had the compunction to get back into this one. And, you know, despite the smacking that I took there on stock, not of my doing, of course, but I'll do better next time as a result of the spread. We're going to do it live here on the PET, and I'm looking. I have not forgotten about TMDE. TMDE is now showing me what I want to see, guys, which is this. The downtrend has now broken on TMDE. We're in a bit of a consolidative state with 30 pennies as resistance. That's shown up multiple times. My bias here is a move above 30, and I'm going to wait. That means I get a worse price. That means I get a worse price. I'm biased on this one to the long side. I'm looking for about 350, if not more. We'll have to see if this one wakes up here, Joey.
All right,
packing the pace.
Good stuff. Farm trader. I didn't know you would do your boy dirty like that, man. That's crazy.
He said it was good?
No, he said something else, man. I'm like, how are you gonna?
The most well-dressed, handsome gentleman is now in the house. You all know him as Raheem Alani, baby.
What's going on?
How's it going, brother?
Too, and
look at that. Look, he's got the watch on. He's got the shirt. Oh, you got the rock music as well. There it is. There it is.
There you go.
Happy trading, everybody.
Yeah,
Appreciate you, Raheem. Always good to see you, brother. Raheem Alani, everybody, we know who he is. Always talking about minerals. Assassino?
Go to Adara.
We're going to Adara.
More context on the Oracle news, guys. So as we reported a couple minutes ago, Oracle reportedly planning on cutting thousands of jobs across the company due to data center costs rising. Apparently their cloud unit is also pausing hiring. So the things related to the guidance that Oracle has made of, like, you know, multi-hundreds of billions of dollars heading into 2030, that's what they're cutting jobs in. That is really significant, guys. I cannot overstate it. They're, as we know, they have that cloud infrastructure guidance through the roof. That is the unit where they're going to be pausing hiring. Back to you.
This is so jokes.
Yeah,
Oracle
it's not a good look for Oracle here.
In any event, guys, yeah, Oracle still bleeding its own blood into the lows. Let's take a look at the Larry Ellison's little baby there. Let's have a look, Joey. Sorry, Assassino. All right, let's pull up the chart on Oracle. I'm going to have to scroll down. Otherwise, this fantastic platform will not update. FinTech, where is my Oracle? Let's just find out where it is, Joey. Cut the crap.
On the daily.
All right, there it is. Down 1.2. It is coming into 150 fast and freaking furious. Oh, embarrassing. All right, sorry, guys. Going to have to pack the patience as Oracle is in a lot of trouble right now, as evidenced by it not being able to show up on the chart. Guys, I've got to digress here because I'm looking for TMDE. It's coming into that 30 penny area. I'm waiting for this one. I've got a bias that this one goes. Joey, I got to send it to you because I got to set up orders, and here we go.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. So we'll just take a look at Oracle one more time. I mean, we're down 50% plus from this 345 high. That earnings report, the forward guidance, 56% to be exact. So, I mean, with the job cuts, we typically look at as a bullish sign, and it's not how it's reacting here in Oracle. This is really, really bad news. And I was just thinking, essentially, a thought that just popped up into my head. Are we going to be able to compare the debt raising that's going to be required in order for them to meet their obligations, kind of like the antitrust that we've seen with Google, what we experienced here in Paramount Skydance, and what we may be experiencing in Meta. So if that becomes sorted out, we know that they're going to be involved with the TikTok deal as well, too. So if that weight is lifted off their shoulders, what can we see in Oracle? Because I think the TikTok aspect of this specific name and the trade can have a massive factor into how we're going to react in the future. So there is very, very negative sentiment here on Oracle, and I think it's going to continue until otherwise. They're going to have to meet those performance obligations, and it's going to be extremely difficult. All right, $10 super chat. Job cuts amidst record credit and Credit card debt, the pinprick looking awfully close to the
thought you were going somewhere completely different with that.
Exactly. I mean, hey, man, if that's how you feel, I always talk about it's just a spark to light the fire. I don't know if Oracle in itself is going to be exactly the thing that's going to pop the bottle. It seemed like that at the beginning. It's like, hey, is this the bubble that we were thinking of amidst the Oracle slide,
or
right?
In
the AI trade,
in the
right?
AI trade.
In the AI trade altogether.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was necessarily, right?
Yeah.
We've seen NVDA's number and we've seen Broadcom's numbers come out. So I don't think that Oracle is going to be the...
I agree, I know. We'll see if Oracle can recover, but right now I wouldn't touch them with a 10-foot pole, clearly. That kind of goes without saying. But Joey.
There goes TPET.
Hey, my man. The only thing missing there was my hand gestures, Fabian. I was trying to do it for the people. But thank you, guys. Oh, this one's just rocketing up, guys. This is the second trade. We're in at 58. It's showing me 88s. We're on our way to 2 over here. And, well, that's what it feels like. Shout out to my man Bovin, who's also in this. There's a monster seller at 88.
Do you know what a teep is? A teep.
No.
It's a kick in Muay Thai. So
is
that's
it?
what it kind of reminds
me. What
me
kind of kick? Because there's a bunch of... Oh, so like the one where you extend the kick forward? Yeah. I like that, Joey.
Right.
All right, guys, I have got a couple of trades here that haven't executed. QURE. I've got an order to go long at 92, okay? I've got an order to go long at 92. That means it has to take out the topping till candle that manifested on the 5-minute chart at 12:35, the high of which is 89. So I'm waiting for this one. It found support at the 20. It's recovering now, but it's coming into that area top. 1090 is that area top. I'm waiting for a breach of that before I get lured in. Separately on TMDE, look, this is not the best looking candle setup right now, and I gotta tell you, the spread on this one, not for my liking. It's a $3 name. It's got a 6 to 7 penny spread, now tightening up to 3. I think that I'm gonna steer clear of this one, okay? I did have an order that I was setting up for a 333 go. It topping till candles into that, and now it's dropping down. That ain't the move for me, man. That ain't the move. The spread is not manageable trading under my system. I think I'm going to steer clear.
Are you ready for this?
Go.
Uh-oh.
No. No, there he is.
I'll let you read it. This guy, listen.
I love it, man.
I'm okay with this.
I love it, man.
Big Spile. You're lucky that I like you, all right, my friend? Because
it's hard not to like him.
Oh, no, it's very easy to not like him.
Really?
Yeah, well...
Because you can tell he's not being serious, so why would you not like him?
Because every super chat is a jab at me. Literally every...
As long as he stays away from me, that's kind of what I like,
well,
bro.
He tends to do that. He just continuous jabs at me. So I'm going to have to let...
look at that. Look at that back double bicep right there, my boys and girls. There we go. There we go. We're doing it freaking live right there. All right, I got to read this, Joey.
This one.
LJS not liking Yellowstone and Landman. Color me surprised that those soft hands change the channel when it comes on. Find Selena. Man, what is happening, man?
Crazy, man?
I'm loving this, man. Big Spile.
You're loving that.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry, Joe. He's funny, bro. What do you want me to do?
Yeah, he is funny.
I love Big Spile, man.
Whoa, hey, don't hit that without...
Hold on, Joey. TPET is bleeding its own blood right now. It's coming down aggressively. Here comes the 10 EMA. We're in at 58. The 10 EMA now, boys and girls, and every other creature, showing 165. Do we hold up at 165? I think we did. Drop down into 165, and it looks like it's making a move now. So watch out here. Nick Diaz. I love you guys, man. I'm just doing it for you know what and giggles. Gun show, Department of War caliber. Yeah. I don't know about that, brother, but yeah. Anyway, TPET coming down into the 10 EMA, 1072, high of day, 1088. We'll look for the hold here at the 10 EMA. This would be a great entry, and then you put current bar low. Current bar low is 166. We're showing 75. It's turning into a green hammer candle, and here it comes again into 78. It was just at 65, rocketing right back up. So people taking profits at the highs to be expected, right? This is not a large cap name where people are actually buying and holding. This is an intraday trade. So there will be aggressive profit taking at the highs, which make it look like it's turning, right? Remember, I always say this. The topping tail candles are not the end all and be all in the world of small cap gappers because of the nature of the names, right? It's not the same thing as seeing it again on an Apple, on an Amazon. It takes a lot more money and more conviction to put those ones topping tail than it does on this one. So anyway, I'm done talking about that. TPET looking for a move. QURE, just absolutely, you know what the bed. Okay, look at that bottoming tail candle that actually ended up holding a great area there at 1033, which is the breakout area. And here it comes again though, but it is putting in a downtrend. So now I have a bit of a negative bias now on QURE. And here's kind of what I'm looking at on the side chart. So these are real. These are not dark pool wicks. They're showing up on my platform and on P8. So look at that. It's moseying back up, right? It's about to take out 1090, hence why I had my resting trade above 1090. I wanted a decisive clearing of the level. We didn't get it. And then all hell broke loose. Ooh. This candle has a high of 1086 and a low of 1033. And here it comes again, 1088. That could have been a specialist breakdown to take your money as the longs look to go back up. I'm gonna leave my order active because I wasn't caught in that down move, right? So I don't have the, the fear of this one. So if it clears into 1092, I'm going long. That's a hell of a monster green candle right there. We're gonna pack the patience.
Ramble on for a second for me, Shu. I want to pull something up here.
Oh, how did I get long QURE right here? Oh, again, okay. I can't ramble on for a second because I just got into a trade and I have to be careful with this one. Right, so I just got in on QURE again, my platform not updating, and this one does. We got in there at 92s. Now I'm gonna look for a move in 11. So that's what my look is there on QURE. Is my stop in place? I have to check on that. No, it is not in place. Okay, so I have to go back and I have to see exactly what my risk profile was on that. Joe, you're gonna have to take over, brother.
I got it. Yeah. Okay, here we go. I'm just doing something here, just because sometimes you got to remind the people. You know what I mean, Sharif? Okay. So let's do something here. I probably shouldn't be doing this while we're here, but anyways, aside from that, I'll get it to you guys momentarily. Just a quick reminder for the folks back home. All right. We'll pull that up here momentarily. Bang. All right, okay. So we got that. We're good. We're ready to rock and roll. All right, guys. So there it is, right? Like the TQQs. We get that move down from 49.31. We have our quote highlights on as well, too. So we'll keep an eye out on that. Let's see if that's going to say momentarily. So if there's anything specifically, I mean, we're starting to, the bleeding is really starting to cool down in NVDA, even though it still does seem relatively weak. On the grand scheme of things, nothing insane, right? A nice strong rebound. We'll head over to the 5-minute. That waterfall type price action, you just want to go with the flow. Now, will you head back and squeeze into this prior support level that can act as potential resistance? There's always a chance, especially considering this name. But you can see an increase in the volume by time profile. That momentum in the volume is really starting to pick up, all right? So we'll just keep that in mind. And I think that's going to be the narrative on this TQs trade, right? So at this point, if we do get that level in NVDA, I think it's going to be around 49.20. So we're about 50 cents off of the lows at this point. Let's see what Joe Mayer says. Hey, Joe, looking to buy some 0615 Amazon 220 calls. What are your thoughts on this right now? Let's take a look at Amazon. When do they expire? That's going to be next week's expiration cycle. I think that's a little bit too near dated. 220, we're trading at those 218s. Let's take a look at the actual contracts to see what they're going on. Like, it's such a tough environment right now, in my opinion. They're worth $1.19, so they are currently, they're close to at the money. But what typically happens here is how much of a rebound are you expecting to get in a contract that I can tell you right now has been decimated without even having to specifically look at it. So $3,100 now worth 86 bucks. You might find somewhat of a base, but also what is the daily telling you? What kind of price action are we experiencing from the higher time frame? Oh, I don't want to get on this call. Let's pull this up. Oh, let's get back to there. What is this telling us? Are we prepared to break out? I mean, that's not horrible. Right, so we fill up this gap. Where's that next level? Within this gap, and that will put you north of that. But we're also on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-day green streak. Okay, so just keep that in mind. And also, by the time I say that consecutively, and I sound like a broken record, give yourself more time. Obviously, you're going to be paying for more on the contract, but it's going to also help you determine if that specific thesis is going to work. Okay. So you keep that in mind. So yeah, so 6.15. Oh, okay. So a couple months from now, 3 months from now, that's a little bit better. I don't think that's horrible whatsoever. Give yourself plenty of time. So that's around 90 days, roughly 90 days in a week. And then sure enough, you can get it way before you lose too much data in your contract there.
All right, guys, in QURE, it got into 11, rejects 11. It's a 2 penny spread, but it moves like it's a very wide spread. And here it comes, man. I have bad feeling about this one. We'll see. So prior bar low is substantially south. I cannot give it to that. So my plan was based on a 70 out. So I'm putting it a little bit below that. Current bar low is 86. Current bar high is 11. I'm always talking about the 5. I just wet the beak lightly there at 11. Wet the beak again at 11.07 if it does make it up there. And then the bulwark of this position, which is my 2R, is 11.25. That will necessitate, I believe, a high of day breach because the high of the day, okay, it's not showing me. I have to look at the 5 over here. The high of the day is 11.20. So that will have to be a high of day breach on QURE. We'll see what we get. We're not going to get upset. We're going to pack the patience, and we'll see how this one ends up resolving. TPET coming back up into 79. We got 58s on this one. It's not taking out the 88 seller, but it's also putting in higher lows and defending the 10 EMA on the 5. So probably packing the patience here. Now, I didn't add anything because it wasn't part of my plan to add on to the 10 EMA. That's something that I got to do, eh? I got to put into the risk calculator somehow on an ex post fact, like after the fact, after I get in my my initial position, to adjust my plan for key areas where I can add. That's one thing I want to add to the calculator. Oh, okay. Because it can't just say that I'm going to be holding the same position. Do you want to use a free roll ad? Like, so like, do you want to, so when you're adding into
key
the
levels.
Position,
at key levels.
Okay, so you don't care if you're in the money or out the money on that.
Yeah. It just because, well, that's a good point. That's actually a good point to consider. Yes, that's actually a good point.
Because I sent you one where you're in the money that you can use.
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah.
I don't know if you can implement that script into your thing.
We'll see. In any event, so I'm gonna have to look because I want to be able to add into these positions, right? Adding into the positions, especially at technical levels, like on TPET, for example, here, when it comes into the 10 EMA on the 5, and it clearly shows an area of support, it's a detriment to my trading that I'm not adding at these levels, especially if you're getting such a move back up. Like, for example, that comes into 67, then it moves back up into 82. That's a substantial amount that could have made there. So I want to be able to figure out that. That's for me, obviously, to worry about, but definitely keeping an eye on these. But I see something queued up there, something I've seen before, and I certainly do not mind seeing again.
See, the thing is, though, Shreve, what I was getting at here, yesterday we got to watch your breakdance video, right? So sometimes you need to remind people of who you are.
Yeah, I do. All right? You need to tell them, too.
You need to tell them.
And they need to believe you.
And they need to believe it. How do you believe? Because you know what they typically say?
They need to see,
if there's no video evidence, it never happened.
Well, that's what I say all the time.
So sometimes, cue the screen here, Assassino. You have to remind people who you truly are. Because Assassino, the screen.
Hey, he's
there
good.
We go. He's got it ready.
Hey.
You have to remind the people of the individual that you truly
Hold on, play it again, man. I wasn't even looking there, man. No.
You have
to jab, and they're both wearing headgear, might I add.
You have to remind them.
Oh! You stepped into that nice, though, eh? Look at him walk away, too. He's like.
You have to remind them. So I have
what words did you say there, Joey? Look at him. Where am I? Where am I?
He's done. I said he's
Look at him, bro. He's still hurt.
He can't even walk.
He's still hurt.
You have to remind people of who you truly are.
I love that video.
Do not mistake my kindness for any form of weakness.
I love it, man. Shout out to the boy. Joey frickin' Opsh. All right, guys, I'm continuing to watch QURE over here dance at $11, 97 showing up, 96s. I'm looking for a move above 11. We haven't had a move above 11 since the candle at 12.10. So I'm packing the patience there, and we'll see what we get on this one. Still holding a piece on TPET, but nothing like we're holding here on QURE, so I really want to focus on this trade. Yeah, my name. Leaning in will get you that fist to the chin. Yeah, man, he paid the price there. He paid the price in a number of ways. His ass dropped to the deck, but it was also filmed. So everybody gets to see it.
His name was Joe, too.
Was it?
Yeah.
Did the people call him Joseph or Joe?
I don't know.
Well, there you go. All right, guys, so that's what I'm looking at now.
And what are you looking at, Joey?
I'm looking at the TQQs here once again. Also, how much I have in my espresso. It's not very much. Yeah, someone said that we looked drunk the other not too long ago there.
Even drink, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Give me a break, bro. Like,
so you got to relax on that one. But aside from that, guys, I mean, the bleeding on NVDA has drastically slowed down. We're getting to find somewhat of a recovery here. I haven't even pulled up AMD today to see what it's been up to. But again, just kind of moving in tandem with what we experienced there in NVDA. So we got to keep an eye out on this one. Could this just be a breath and we take an additional leg lower? Because, I mean, it's really tough to say that we're going to have that aggressive, continuous waterfall type price action. I'm just not getting that feel here today in the overall market, even though we have taken additional legs lower. I think that's really important to note. So with that being said, we had a good position. I haven't even looked at my P&L to see if we turned our red into a green session. Do I wish I had a little bit more? Of course, that's hindsight 2020, which it typically is. And essentially, we took some off at. I was only risking a couple pennies here as well. So, I mean, 20 cents, we take some off at 30 cents. So it was about a 1.3 to 1, and then we slowly piece it out. And I wanted to wait for that momentum to cool down because 48.30 I felt was going to be a solid target. And you can see that we bounced off of that zone pretty aggressively, 50 cents the opposite way. And then now we're starting to curl over, all right? So we'll continuously look at that. If there's anything specific that you guys want to, Darren, we're focused, brother. We're highly focused. I mean, Sharif's got TPET going on. He's got Quagmire going on there as well, and the TQQs were in 49.31. Okay, we were trading at 48.61. I mean, we focus all day, man. So just a little bit of fun here and there. I mean, we're rambling on. Yeah, HyperCube. It's true. That's funny. HyperCube. Did he say that before? That's funny. He would, and that made me laugh. So big smile. He's not a little dude, man. What is he standing around, like 6'3" or 6'4" or something along those lines? He's not a small individual. I already told you my game plan with Big Smile is I'd have to run circles around him for a little bit, kind of get him tired, and then stick and move, I think would be the narrative. But obviously being extremely sarcastic. But aside from that, guys, a nice additional leg. Who's Katina, man? Are you kidding me?
That's Sean, guys.
Yeah,
Sean Katina.
I'm just asking that right now.
That's okay.
But aside from that, we're starting to curl back over. That could have been just a small breath in some of these chip names as the momentum is definitely picking up, and we may breach that 48.30 level, and then after that point, 48.20, we'll see if we can take it. Speaking of the man
he's walking
himself,
in as we were talking about him there.
There he is. Could you believe someone asked who's Katina, man? Like, are you kidding me?
I'd be offended too.
He is offended. He is offended. He's about to throw something.
All right. Yeah. Neil was dancing.
I thought that was comical.
Neil was dancing.
Katina Man's going to be dancing momentarily, and he won't be throwing anything once he realized where the Nasdaq is at. I seen he was short from 50/50s. We're now trading at 48.34, Katina Man. We'll hit the stone cold on that one. So nice work, man. 48.20 is going to be that next target. A good look there.
All right, see ya. Let's start the news.
That's like saying, who is Jesus?
Yeah, let's begin. Apple has unveiled a MacBook Neo. You can see on my screen right here. New entry-level laptop, which is priced at $599 only, which is marking the company's cheapest Mac ever till date. And this launch is coming during a week of rollout period that is iPhone 17e, iPad Air, and the MacBook Pro lineup. And MacBook Neo has a lot of features here. This features a 13-inch display and is lightweight, 2.7 pound aluminum body, and it also includes 2 USB-C ports along with a headphone jack. Base configuration, as we talked about last week, will be starting at 256 GB of storage with a $100 upgrade offering 512 gigabytes and a Touch ID support. And Apple claims up to 16 hours of battery life on the laptop. Unlike Apple's MacBook Air and Pro models that use M-series processors, this one will be running on A18 Pro chips.
So I love this. I think it gives Apple a good entry point with people who are budget conscious. I'm not just speaking about students, which this is obviously looking to target. They're looking to target, obviously, the Chromebook marketplace and education. Katina Man was speaking about that this morning. His kids both have Chromebooks at school. The better part, though, about this, as opposed to a Chromebook, is that this is going to be upgradable, not in the hardware sense, but it's also going to receive software updates. The Chromebooks, my understanding is, you know, once they're dated, and they can't really be updated. So that doesn't make for, obviously, reusability and what's the word I'm looking for, essentially? The, not reusability, but sustainability, longevity. So that I like. I also like the fact that it's $499 for students, so it moves the needle even more. Now, you're probably wondering, well, what's this going to do to Apple's margins? This is pretty cheap product. Are they really making the money on this? And my submission to you is, it's probably not as good as some of their other products in terms of gross margins, but what it does do is it allows them to use older processors. In this specific case, they're using the A18, which is in Joseph's iPhone 16 right there. And that's a great processor. I don't think anybody really complains about the speed of the iPhone 16. The only thing is, if you're looking at doing like video editing and, you know, really graphic intensive stuff, you probably don't want this. If you're looking at, you know, surfing the web, doing homework, reading, watching YouTube videos, this is probably more than you need. I like this. I like the fact that it comes in multiple colors. The colors are actually tinted. The keyboard colors are tinted to the actual color of the laptop itself. And it's a premium device. It's made of aluminum. There's really nothing cheap about it. So I do like this. I like the move by Apple here. We'll have to wait and see if the market likes it and whether this gets bought up. But you got to assume with this this price point at 600 US, there's got to be a lot of buyers.
It adds so much of an more of an addressable market for them. I think that's really important. Yeah. And as competitors are raising price as well too, because of the cost of RAM Street, I think it's a really smart play. And I agree with Adara and Brando. I mean, I don't feel like even though like you mentioned, it's really important for obviously that sustainable revenue within Apple, like releasing the 17E and just kind of those every 6-month increments. Right. I think this is a little bit bigger because of the pricing point. Absolutely. And what it does against its competitors.
And it's not by a small amount, Joseph. The cheapest other product that they had in terms of a laptop was the Air, and the Air, I believe, was $1,000. Dude, this is substantially cheaper.
Aren't not the AirPods, but the headphones of Apple?
The iPod.
The Maxes, thank you, Sierra. Those are like $500, are they not?
More.
They're $700.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do? Get a MacBook or some headphones?
Yeah, they're... I'd get a MacBook, but it depends on what you need, obviously. Guys, before we go to Adara, TMDE is taken off. So the downtrend broke. The consolidation was there. I didn't put the order in. That's on me. But TMD is going high of day 367, and it could see 4. What's going on, Adara?
Yeah, wow, that AirPod pricing is gobsmacking. But I want to talk here about Feds Bowman. Feds Bowman, currently speaking, saying, quote, she hopes to see more hiring and growth in 2026, and also saying that it's too early to tell the impacts of the war on the U.S. economy. So we know a lot of these Feds have been weighing in on how the Iran situation is going to be impacting the U.S. economy. Feds Bowman saying at this point, she feels like it's too early to tell. So just so you guys know, she is currently speaking.
This Neo, that's what they're calling it, it runs circles around some of these Chromebooks. It's 3 times faster than ones that are directly comparable in terms of price. I think Apple has something here. What I don't know is what the gross margins are on this product. Let's just be honest, we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
I don't know.
They're probably going to be on the lower end.
Yeah, I'm assuming like 30, low 40s, because typically Apple is high 40s, low 50s.
See, I know you have a MacBook, correct? How long have you had that for?
That's the MacBook Pro with the M2 chip that I've had since 2023.
3 years.
That makes sense. And Dan the Man Emmons was saying he was using this from 2012. Yeah. I think Adara gave an anecdotal story that she used her old one for a number of years as well.
It's honestly not bad.
I used mine for a long time as well.
I've had mine since 21.
Yeah, go ahead. Go. Assassino, Katina Man wants to chime in. If whenever you're available. Okay, so Assassino's going to get that ready. Here he is.
So what I was thinking about this as I listened to you guys talk, you know what? I think it's like a gateway into the Apple environment, right? So I think that that's like the one thing that you might start as a student and then you really like the product and then so you pay the $499, $599, whatever it is, right? And then as you mature up, you get your first full-time job or whatever. You're familiar with the OS, you're familiar with Apple products, and then you're in that ecosystem, right? So I think it just, it takes kids away from, you know, the Chromebook and all that and puts them right into Apple. Like I was saying before, like now that my kids are Apple kids, they're probably never going to do anything else. And so that's like the hats off to Apple for doing that. I actually think they don't even need to make any money on them for it to be a success. So.
And Katina, man, I want to add to the point you're making there, which is a great one. Do your kids have iPhones?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think that they would prefer that their what's it called? Their school computer jives with their iPhone? Like, isn't it more compatible than using the Chromebook?
Well, I mean, that's exactly. That's what I'm saying. Once you're in the ecosystem, I think that, you know, hooking up your like they have AirPods, so hooking that up, hooking up your iPad. And not only that, I mean, I know it all plays. Look, Chrome has done and Google's done a great job of being able to simply switch from one phone to another, upload all your videos, all your pictures, all your apps. Like, so that part's been handled, but it's just more the mentality. Like, once the kids are using the Apple product, because it's a little different, as you guys know, with MacBooks, right? The commands are a little bit different and all of that kind of stuff than a PC. So I do think there is some value in getting them in. I sound like a drug dealer, like get them in early there, but you know, first one's free, Apple.
I love it. Ichiro coming with a great point. Ichiro, you're always bang on with some of these comments. He's like, he doesn't care, or sorry, Apple doesn't care about the margins on the Neo. What they want is to lock you in to their services revenue, Joey, where the gross margins are mid to high 80s.
Absolutely.
And that's one of their fastest growing segments. Let's be honest about it.
And then that's why they collect, what is that, $20 billion check from Google as well.
A Billy. All right,
yeah. Sean hit that on the head. It's the ecosystem, right? It's the ecosystem that they want to suck you in. But I mean, it took a while for a lot of programs to kind of adapt the iOS opinion, right? But now
you were saying that though. But Joey, I get DAS that doesn't have it. Let's find out if DAS has. I need to know,
man.
They might
now. I hope that they do.
What is it called? DAS Trader?
Yeah.
Mac. Let's find out, bro. I need to know immediately. Can I run DAS on Mac computer? Where is DAS? Where is the downloads? Where's how do I go downloads? Products. Sorry, Sia, 1 second. Okay, our products. DAS Trader Pro. Show me. Where do I download it from? I can't download it, Joey. There we go. Android mobility desktop solution cross-platform. Is this it here?
Probably be something around those lines.
Okay, well, these are pictures.
I told you needed to download. Like, in order to run it, you needed to download Parallels.
Interesting. That's stupid, bro. Right? That should not be the case. I think that's one of the only things. Anyway,
exactly.
we beat this.
That's what I had to do.
You can't, eh? People said you can't? Okay.
No, you can't. You need to have Parallels.
All right, Sia, what do we got next?
Adjusting its China AI chip strategy. But to give you a little bit more context before I dive into the story, last week during the earnings call, CFO Colette Kress said that the company has yet to generate any revenue from China despite having a U.S. approval for some of the shipments. But she also added that she wasn't sure if any imports would be allowed into China by China. Now, Nvidia is reportedly halting production of its H200 AI chips that were designed and destined for China. The company has shifted manufacturing capacity at its Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing, TSM, towards the next generation Vera Rubin AI hardware. And this move, according to me, signals that Nvidia may not expect meaningful H200 sales into China in the near term, which is why this move has been made. What do you think about this?
So I'm concerned that they missed the boat here, right? All these companies, ByteDance, Alibaba, JD, who else? Baidu. All of them have very clearly signaled their intentions as well as their desire to buy these H200s. But every time that they come to buy them and every time that NVIDIA shareholders and NVIDIA management gets excited, there's either the Chinese regulator saying don't buy them because they're spooked, or you got the US regulator giving us mixed signals. I heard that Nvidia, I read that Nvidia had gotten the go-ahead from the U.S. Department of Commerce, which is the department that is responsible for issuing these export licenses. What the hell happened to that report? Where is this coming from all of a sudden that they can't sell them? Who's in charge over there, man? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, what are these reports? I can go back to my notes and pull out the specific day that we reported that the Department of Commerce had given the nod. In fact, we pointed out that the H200 was allowed to be exported while the MI450 wasn't. And we made the case, how come NVIDIA's getting the nod and how come AMD's not getting the nod?
And Adara mentioned it's Lutnick, isn't it? It's Howard Lutnick.
It's lunatic. It's his department.
So what we're reading here is they're not saying that they can. They just need the approval still.
Dude,
right?
we got the approval. Where the hell is the?
But we said this on multiple times, is that they're just playing ping pong at this point, and we said that, right? And I'm really glad that NVDA didn't jump the gun and guide with these H200s.
Imagine if they built them. Imagine if they built all these H200s.
We know the institutions have filed for the licensing in China as well too. So I'm glad that they didn't put that into the report. Otherwise, it would be even more detrimental.
No, and he gave us his word. He said my China revenue is zero.
It's zero.
And people thought he was he has a propensity for hyperbole. No, he doesn't.
Didn't Lisa Su kind of take the opposite path of that as well too, and is kind of projecting some China sales?
She did, but she also said there was no China revenue on the report.
There's nothing yet.
And they didn't guide anything
either. I think she's playing just as much as.
But she thought she was going to get the Department of Commerce not to anyway, man. This is a bunch of crap. I don't know what the hell's going on. Adara, give us your take on NVIDIA.
Okay, so I do have thoughts, and I'm going to start with my thoughts on the China thing, and it's going to transition into the NVIDIA AMD story from today, because I want to discuss that as well. But we'll start here with the China situation that was reported from the Financial Times that we're talking about right now. So here's the thing. I was just saying this to Sia off camera. I actually think it's kind of fiscally responsible of NVIDIA to do this. Now, I'm not saying I don't think they should be sending chips to China. You guys know how I feel about that. I fully believe they should be able to. But here's the thing. If you don't know, like, you have approval, but you're not allowed to send them. The U.S., they're not answering your phone. You've got China. They're being like whatever weird on the other end. You're part of like a game of tug of war that has international proportions. You're part of basically a proxy war, like between these two countries. And you can't send your chips. Are you going to really waste money making them still? I don't know. I don't think it makes sense. I think once they're like, they have a clear kind of response, I think maybe they can strategize and hopefully try to redo this again. I'm not saying I don't think they should be sending them to China, but I think given the culture of uncertainty, I think it's a really good move for them to pause this now. That brings us to the story from today, which I have some thoughts on. So, of course, the story from today, Bloomberg reporting that these chip companies, they specifically named NVIDIA and AMD, but I guess in general, chip companies will not be able to send AI chips in any way internationally, in virtually any circumstance, without a license. Now, if they don't have that license, you can't export your chips. So, I mean, obviously you still can do it, but there's still going to be more regulatory hurdles. I don't really like the regulatory hurdles here, and for the same reason I think NVIDIA should be able to ship to China. I know the argument here from the White House would likely be America first, and I understand that, but I also think it's good for America if their American companies are able to get as much revenue as possible. But I also don't want them to waste money making chips they can't send. So that brings us back full circle here. Long story short, I do think NVIDIA and AMD and all these chip companies should hopefully be able to export within reason and with appropriate guardrails to whatever countries. They need the revenue. They deserve the revenue. Let's see what goes here. But I actually think this is a decent, I don't think it's a bad call for NVIDIA at this point. Just say, hey, it's not working for now. We're going to hold back and see what happens.
Definitely. Of course. Imagine they built all those. I think they had orders for 2 million. They could only actually fulfill 700,000. Imagine if they actually built those with the limited supply that Taiwan Semi has. So more on the headline today. Let's get to it. Assassino, if I can show the screen, please. The proposed rules would require companies to seek U.S. government approval for virtually all exports of AI accelerators from NVIDIA and AMD, and that's going to include 40 countries. This being reported by Bloomberg.
Under the draft regulations, shipments of 1,000 or more NVIDIA GB300s, which are the dual Blackwell, units would undergo a review process, and certain exemption opportunities. Larger deployments would require pre-clearance. For those larger deployments exceeding 200,000 GB300s owned by one company or in one country, the host government would need to participate in the approval process. So it's not just good for the U.S. commerce too, but the receiving country would have to be good with it as well. The U.S. would only approve such exports to allies that make security commitments and matching investments in American AI. You want to buy the best chips? You're going to have to throw money at America. That's what this is saying. Though the draft rules do not specify an investment ratio. The regulations are not intended, according to this article by the Street Insider reporting from Bloomberg, to function as an export ban, but would establish a U.S. Commerce Department as a gatekeeper for the AI industries. Companies and their governments would need the Commerce Department approval to purchase their chips, which is used by firms, OpenAI, Alphabet, blah, blah, blah. So that's the details of this new thing. And I got to tell you, I don't think this is the end-all and be-all. I don't think this is too bad, to be honest. But obviously, it does create another hurdle. So let's just not lie about that.
Absolutely, I agree with you.
All right, I think we beat this one to death. What do we got next, Sia?
We're talking about Meta. Meta is ramping up the development of its in-house AI chips. At a Morgan Stanley technology conference that ended yesterday in San Francisco, CFO Susan Lee said that the company's internal chips are already widely deployed in recommendation systems, and the company plans to expand these custom processors to support AI training workloads. The company, Meta, is also broadening its AI ecosystem with new tools, infrastructure upgrades, and partnerships with content providers. It's also testing AI-powered search features within its chatbot. It's also actively pursuing content licensing agreements with publishers to train its AI models on high-quality data sets. And one potential deal under discussion involves the NWSA News Corp and could reach up to $50 million annually.
Okay, so I know for a fact that we reported that Meta was abandoning chip making, and I'm just trying to find it right now. I'm trying to use my Google search. Meta manufacturing. Let's see what comes up. I don't remember exactly what day that was from. It says 27th. Let's see if it's the 27th. No, that's too. Meta scrapped most of its advanced internal AI training chips under development and is shifting to a less complex version. That's probably what it was. The company also abandoned work on a next-gen chip called Olympus. This is, by the way, in the morning note on February 27th. So this is not that long ago. Today's March 5th. The decision highlights the execution challenges, engineering hurdles, power consumption risk, and long design cycles made internal efforts difficult to scale. Flip to March 5th, today, Meta's ramping up development of in-house AI chips designed to power its recommendation system. So the only thing that I can see there is where it says that they are scrapping the more advanced ones and they're shifting to a less complex version. This, let's see if this article articulates which complex version they're going. Internal chips effort, no, reiterated investment. So they don't really say in this article. I'd have to go back, but that's kind of contradictory a little bit. I'm not surprised.
They also just signed a deal with AMD as well.
And they buy Nvidia chips. So it's just, exactly.
I'm not overly.
I'm not worried about it too much. Susan Lee at the Morgan Stanley conference, I think she said, Sia was talking about this, says, their internal chips are already widely deployed in the recommendation systems. And if anybody's used Reels, they can probably get an idea of how good these chips are or not, because I don't like Reels, to be honest with you. But yeah, a little contradictory there, but I can see where,
bit, right? But
yeah.
What is Zuck going to do? Like, how much is he going to add into his full year 27 capex? Like, are you going to add another like couple $1 billion just to build your own chips?
Well, I'm assuming this would probably reduce it a little bit, because if they were going at the advanced chip, Joey, right, and then maybe
like the R&D and everything,
well, it's still going to be there.
It's going to be there for sure. I want to add this as well with Meta. So you know what we don't talk about quite often here with Meta is we were always talking about Instagram and Reels, but WhatsApp and how big of a platform what WhatsApp actually is. So they now agreed with the EU to allow outside chatbots to step into into WhatsApp. So they're
going to be able to. Was that like the anti-competitive digital Markets Act?
So now they're going to allow that there within WhatsApp.
All right, there goes what's it called? TPET through 2 into 2. We're flattening out here. We're going to take it out at 2. All right, what do we got next to you?
Talking about AVGO, Broadcom reported better than expected first fiscal quarter results. Adjusted EPS is $2.05 versus the $2.03 that was expected. Revenue at $19.31 billion versus $19.18 billion that was expected. And it grew 29% year over year. And net income has risen to $7.35 billion, which is $1.50 per share compared to the $5.50 billion a year earlier.
So I like this, obviously, and I've made this point a lot, which I feel that NVIDIA's gross margins are very high. They're expensive products, are kind of a deterrent, not just to hyperscalers because they have to buy a ton of these, but to other less wealthy companies who also want to get into the AI game. So if you're able to custom design some of these chips and help Broadcom put it into production, basically into silicon for you, there's a lot of money that you can save. So I've always felt that Broadcom, as well as Marvell, to mention the continuement, would they report tonight? Marvell reports tonight, another name that's in the custom ASICs game, obviously. This is really good, especially for saving money. So I feel that there is a clear path in that way. Moreover, if you believe some of the reports, and I'm not saying this is accurate, nor do I have enough information to verify, but if you believe the reports that NVIDIA's chips are not as good for inference as some others, then that creates another moat here, where you can design these chips specifically to be ready and to operate for inference as opposed to training, which is kind of like the older GPUs. So I do like that, and I also like the fact that they have a lot of customers who have a lot of money. Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, all these are clients of Broadcom's. I like it, but the chart is not that great. So I feel maybe we're still, it's in a consolidation range. So I feel like maybe we're still working our way into the valuation, which typically what happens when you have a big move up. AVGO, let's flip to the daily. Yeah, you can't say it's tanking. It doesn't look great, but it's consolidative, I would say. This is a long, prolonged area of consolidation. If I had to really weapon in my head, it does look like a downtrend. It looks like it's using the 50 exponential moving average as resistance, and it has, ever since it lost it, I want to say since it put the all-time high on December 11th, I think that was. What's your take?
Yeah, this is interesting, Shreve, because I think it kind of combines what we're going on right now about Broadcom and then what we were just talking about not too long ago with Meta. So, I mean, this is just an analyst, but Broadcom's management directly addressed investors' concern that have been weighing on the stock in recent months. D.A. Davidson analyst Gil Laura says investors have been worried about the custom ASICs, right? But typically don't have too much success with that stuff in-house. Right, so just going on with what Meta's doing, not too much success there. And apparently what we got here on Broadcom, that they've secured capacity through 2028 and should be able to deploy their 10 gigawatts of planned deployments for full year 26 and 27. So, I mean, the pipeline is there, so the investment should be relatively good as well.
All right, we'll have to wait and see. The chart's got to reflect that. Adara, give us your take on Broadcom.
My take on Broadcom, like I said, what I've been trying to do lately is just diving more deeply into this earnings report. So I'm going to give less an opinion and more just kind of take you through things that I noticed comparing this report to last quarters. So for one, I think the semi solutions growth is incredible. This grew sequentially. It also grew by 65% year over year. Now, I mean, infrastructure software revenue growth 35% year over year. That's not bad. What I do think, though, is interesting here is that infrastructure software revenue did decline slightly on a sequential basis. So interesting look there. Again, I think 29% year-over-year revenue growth is more than fine. That's in terms of like expansion or compression from last quarter, roughly in line. I think we had roughly 29 to 30% year-over-year revenue growth last quarter. So not a bad look. Just so you guys know, this is not going to really be market moving, but just so you guys are aware, I'm just seeing now it looks like we're going to have a new Department of Homeland Security Secretary nominee. Back to you.
They kicked out Christine Ohm, eh? Oh, snap. She's out. She was on the Hill yesterday testifying up a storm. You saw that? Remember the woman that was on TV and I told you that this Christine Ohm? All right.
Is that where the Marine broke his hand? The Marine was all up in there yelling and everything along those
No, I didn't see that.
You didn't see that part?
You at Congress? While she was
I don't know
testifying?
where it was. Yeah, I don't know if that was
I didn't even see
the same.
Are we talking about Okta next year?
You're right. We're talking about Okta next. They reported better than expected fourth quarter results and adjusted EPS 90 cents versus 85 that was expected. Revenue at 761 million versus the 749 million expected, and it has increased 11% year over year. Net income has risen to 63 million, which is 35 cents per share. And Okta has said that the rapid growth of AI agents and automated software systems is increasing the need for secure identity verification and access management. CEO of the company, Todd McKinnon, also highlighted the opportunity for Okta to become a core infrastructure layer for identity and trust in AI ecosystems. And talking about Q1 revenue forecast, it's between 749 million to 753 million, which is below the analyst expectations of $755 million, but the adjusted EPS forecast standing between 84 cents to 86 cents compared with the 87-cent consensus.
Yeah, and that was below the guide there. The management tried to say, look, our outlook is prudent given market conditions. I'm assuming he's talking about SaaS-mageddon and, well, other ones as well, software-mageddon, and in our case here, a cybersecurity-mageddon, because they got all clipped. Now, they're bouncing back now. I see Pandub around 160 and that kind of thing. But what really catches my attention is they're going to use AI basically to combat AI, which I think is a natural move for this. So they're basically saying, they said the rapid growth of AI agents and automated software systems is increasing the need for secure identity verification and access management. Companies deploying agentic AI tools to ensure that software agents and applications have secure identities and controlled access to systems. Feels like, this is kind of where we're going with OpenClaw, right? Because a lot of people didn't want to run OpenClaw locally on a computer, even though they would buy an entirely new computer for it and create new accounts, just because that you can get what they call prompt injections. But if you're running on a secure server, it's a lot harder to do, hence why Wainers is running his on AWS, and he gets all the benefits of the security that you do on AWS. So I feel like this is like the first of many different AI cybersecurity overlaps that we're going to see going forward.
Yeah, for sure. And we talked about kind of just one, for a while we're talking about, hey, ChatGPT was the best, comes out with 5, not so good. Gemini was leading the race now, and then everything is OpenClaw now, Claude and everything along those lines. But as you mentioned, Sharif, gross bookings made up 30% of, new product bookings was 30% of total Q4 bookings, up from around 20% in the first half of 2026. And it seems that investors are willing to digest a little bit of margin compression here as well too, just for that future outlook, even though it did come in a little bit lower than expected. So Okta, did we look at it from a daily?
Have a look.
Yeah,
I've seen better charts.
Yeah, I mean, but you mentioned SaaS-mageddon, right? So I mean, this name is definitely, yeah, it's not too good over here. 127 all the way down to $78. That's a 38% haircut right here in OKTA.
Rigetti, mom spaghetti.
We're talking about Rigetti. That's right. Reported a revenue of $1.87 million, short of expectations of $2.31 million. The company also posted a net loss of $22.6 million, which totals to 18 cents per share, compared with a $20.5 million loss a year earlier. But the gross profit has improved significantly to $652K, up from $1 million loss the year prior. And Rigetti also disclosed a purchase order for its Novera quantum processor from Japan's Riken Research Organization. This is signaling the increasing interest in the company and international interest. And CEO of the company, Subodh Kulkarni, has highlighted a growing demand for on-premise quantum systems. It also continues developing hybrid quantum classical systems. And the company recently introduced Anka 3, which is a next-generation superconducting quantum processor designed to improve performance.
Yeah, so I don't like this, at least not yet. only because government agencies and research institutions remain the key early customers. So I get you. Obviously, the market is forward-looking for this. For you to make the real money on this, when this booms, you got to get in now or strategic opportunities. So maybe I was a little too aggressive with that. There's things I like and things I don't like. I don't like how it's concentrated just with governments and research institutions. I feel that limits their TAM. On the other side of the coin, government revenue and government contracts are a lot stickier and last for a lot longer than commercial ones, which could be more transient. The commercial institutions, they can kind of adapt and freestyle a little bit more than government. So in one sense, I like it. In the other sense, I don't. I'd like to see some commercial applications for something like this. I think that's where the majority of the TAM will be. But hey, we can't put the cart before the horse, right? Like we got to get quantum computing commercially viable before they can do that.
Yeah, exactly.
But at the moment, I'm still skeptical.
I think we've seen the same narrative here in D-Wave as well, too, Shreve, when we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago after this report. It is really starting to expand internationally. That's something that's positive. So the space is gaining more popularity. And as you mentioned before you get into, you need those government contracts. I know they're doing the exact same thing, starting a contract with Germany and some other European countries as well, too. But I mean, there was price targets left, right, and center on Rigetti, Shreve. Surprisingly so from where we're currently trading at. You'd see a 66% increase in a lot of these analysts' potential targets here. I mean, we're trading around 15, 16 bucks in Rigetti, $16.24, and we still have targets around $50 and $45 or so. So
we have a lot of targets.
Yeah, there's a lot of different targets. But I mean, what I'm getting at here is it's substantially higher than where we're currently trading at right now. I can't wait till we just need to move on to that next person, man.
We're moving on to the next story, which has a lot to do with her.
Yeah, let's move on to the next story. I'm not happy about this one right here. AEO. American Eagle has reported an adjusted EPS of 84 cents, just surpassed Zach's consensus estimate of 71 cents, slightly beating last year's 54 cents per share result. Now, revenue has come in at 1.81 billion, which has exceeded expectations of 1.73 billion. But profit margins have declined 2.6%, sharply down 18.5% from last year. I was just talking to Adara about this off camera. Despite the earnings beat, though, AEO shares have declined about 15.7%. I am a bit disappointed because I'm holding the stock, and I wish I wasn't.
Hold on, you're holding American Eagle?
Yeah.
You didn't. I thought you were in Abercrombie.
Both.
You're in both. Okay, it's a little concentration risk there, Sia. But
Tail concentration.
There they are, clearly. Yeah, this report to me is not that great. Yeah, they beat on the quarter. I don't like declining margins. I'd like an explanation for why margins are declining. Is it tariffs? Is it the rise in input costs? What is it exactly? Is it labor? I'd like to understand that. Retail apparel apparently has faced mixed sentiment, consumer spending trends, and margin pressure. I spoke to you, I think, a couple of days ago. It was you or Brendo, that I always keep my eye on credit card delinquencies.
Yeah.
30-day, 60-day, 90-day cars as well. Yeah. Card delinquencies, and they are going up, and they're not going up in the same way, Joey, that they did during the GFC. Okay. So it's like not cause for concern. But typically, one thing, I don't know how you feel.
Well,
everybody's
I don't feel
different.
Like we're in the GFC kind of environment.
No.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
if you wanna clamp down on spending,
yes.
One of the first things that you may say to yourself, I can go without, is new clothes.
Yeah, absolutely.
To be fair?
Yeah.
Right?
I 100% agree with you. And I mean, when we were talking about this name on the previous couple of reports, Shreve, is that they were signing those new brand deals. I don't know if that helped kind of boost the stock. You had the Travis Kelce deal. You had your Sydney Sweeney deal as well, too. But one thing that they were also doing is they were not giving too large of discounts. And that was huge for the margins as well, too, right? So, you have that lower end discount. You're not giving that 20, 30%. It's only a couple percentage points, right? And during the holiday season. So I'm not surprised to see this because, as you mentioned before, if you're really looking to hone in on some of your spending, I think one of the discretionary things is just going out there and buying new clothes.
I agree. Just before we get Adara's take, I want to point out one thing. So here's what happened.
So when your boy Joey Opsh and I got into the bet, we were around right here.
That's when Sia needed to buy in around.
So hold on. So this is where Joey and I were talking, right? And then this is the earnings report that I started, dancing up a storm on. I'm like, oh, I'm going to see that 26. And then look what happened, guys. Drop right back down, lo and behold, to that 200, which was also, Joey, the flat top break from that ascending wedge. And then look what we did. We made local highs into 28.5. Here we are again, Joseph, dropping into the 200 and the breakout level. I'm not saying this is a buy, but I'm saying technically it has held the prior breakout area before. I'm not involved, and I don't plan on being involved.
I mean, and we have to take into consideration like kind of the saturation of kind of the retail space and clothing brands, right? People, it's like, hey, we're gonna kind of cut things off, but then you also look for the cheaper alternatives as well too. It's like, hey, where can I get that discount? Where's that cheaper jean? Do I need that specific brand?
Absolutely. All right, Adara, give us your take on American Eagle.
I mean, just with the revenue number here, 1.76 billion is the official number that they reported. Just want to clarify, I was hearing about like that 1.8 billion. 1.76 bill is the number that I saw on their report, because I always read through the fine print on this. And that's so that I can give you guys these fun little visuals. So with that in mind, nice sequential growth across the year for revenue for AEO. If you look at revenue growth year over year, what I love about this too is each quarter, the revenue growth gets better and better. So Q1 25, down 5% year over year. Not great. Relatively flat for Q2, negative 1%. Now you wonder if the Sydney Sweeney effect comes in, because then you start to get nice year over year revenue growth and sequentially improving year over year revenue growth once we get to Q3, 6% year over year, and then you get your 10% year over year. So I guess hats off to Sydney, I'll say, for that. Gross profit also improving sequentially. Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, you've got these increases. And actually, when you look at 651 million gross profit for Q4 versus 332 in Q1, that is honestly, I think, quite a good look. And I will give, again, as Sharif would say, chapeau, hats off there to our friends at AEO for that number. Now, comparable sales growth I find interesting. This was kind of more mixed, generally speaking, especially when it comes to the Aerie, which is like kind of their undergarment swimsuit sub-brand. That comparable sales growth has improved sequentially across the board. Really nice look here. That 23% year over year look for Q4. I mean, you generally expect Q4 comp sales to be better because of the fact that it's the holiday season, but I really like what Aerie's doing here with that comp sales growth. Overall comp sales growth, not bad, but I think it's interesting. Their actual American Eagle brand cannot really get off the schneid, to borrow another saying that is used on our desk, I think most frequently by Neil. Like, I don't know, I don't like this 2% year-over-year growth for the core American Eagle brand. I think clearly people are shopping more at Aerie, even though you've got the Sydney Sweeney ad, the summer I turned pretty ad from a couple years ago. You had the, you've got your Travis Kelce. I think it's bringing attention to the stock and the company, but I'm not sure it's bringing attention to the products. Although, again, and that's just for the core brand, because Aerie's clearly flying.
Let's be honest about it. There was half the population in the States that was alienated by some of these ads where, she kept saying she's got good genes. You had, accusations of racism, and then they put in a German Shepherd in there just to, for the coup d'etat, so to speak. So, you reduce your TAM when you do that. You may reinvigorate or reawake one side who may, participate and buy your product, but you alienate the other side. So it was a risk. They took it. Right, and we'll see how they do in the future. I think they're not even running those ads anymore, Joey. It's not on TikTok.
No, and I mean but I'm pretty sure that German Shepherd's her dog though.
It is. But choosing to put it in there, I think they're trying to push buttons, and that's what a good ad campaign does. It elicits emotions from people. So if you're looking at whether the campaign was good or bad, I would say it was good. Because it got people talking, and that's what they wanted. They wanted to get their name back.
Regardless, I mean,
but the other side is not going to buy your product.
What do they say? Bad publicity is good publicity. So I mean, there it is. And she's fully disclosing which politically side she leans on.
No. She dunked on that woman that tried to get her. Yeah, she's like, when I have something to say about politics, I will speak. You're not going to tell me when I can and can't talk, right? Okay. Yeah, so she dunked on that woman. I think that woman was from like the Wall Street Journal or something like that. Right. Anyway, all right, guys, what do we got next?
Yeah, but that's just how the world is these days.
Go ahead, Sia.
I remember even Kendall Jenner, when she did one of the ads for Pepsi, she got so much backlash on that. Yeah, anyway, we're going to move on to StubHub. StubHub has posted a revenue beat, but it has reported a large loss as well. It's reported its fourth quarter revenue of $533.5 million. Analysts' expectations were at $485.4 million, so it's exceeded that for sure. The company also has reported a net loss of $2.45 million at the same time, but the loss also included loss also included a $479 million non-recurring tax provision. Also on the adjusted basis, earnings came in at 15 cents per share. Analysts' expectations were at 17 cents per share. And the CEO of the company, Eric Baker, said that StubHub is now shifting its strategy towards a direct ticket sales and advertising model. And for the current fiscal year, StubHub is expecting a revenue between $9.9 billion to $10.1 billion. And the company forecasts adjusted EBITDA between $420 and $520 million. It also paid down $150 million in debt in the fourth quarter, and management of the company said that it is expecting higher returns in North America.
Okay, so
Just hold for a second.
yeah, you're still fine, Katina, man. We still have to talk about this one. So it looks like, as Sia mentioned, they're looking at shifting strategy. And I don't know how I feel about this, to their direct ticket sales and advertising model. That's going to reduce their reliance on third-party reseller inventory. I think that probably helps margins a little bit because that removes one of the middlemen. Okay, that's great, but that makes them more into a ticket master, right? So does that mean that they're going to have direct direct lines of business channels with Live Nation? Because we know Live Nation and Ticketmaster are one and the same. So how does that work? Do they have exclusive events that only go through StubHub and negate Ticketmaster, or are there dual channels